Welcome in, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 7 a.m., Monday, July 28th. Glad to be with you in studio back again as we inch closer to kickoff for college football and some of the big openers we're going to get into today. Teams that are going to be starting practice today. GMAC, there are plenty that are going to open up fall camp today, and we'll be able to talk about them as they get going. Most SEC teams will begin this week. Cincinnati, Colorado, Sanford's actually on the practice field right now. Houston, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, UCF all beginning practice today. You get Auburn that's going to go tomorrow. Alabama goes the next day. So we'll have a lot more to talk about as teams get back on the field. But some of those teams that begin today, Missouri, we'll start with them out of the Southeastern Conference. After media days, talking to some folks, I can tell you this. We haven't really spoken since media days. And had a chance to catch up on kind of what the buzz was, what people were saying. Going back to some of the things you and I talked about post-media days, could not believe some of the guys that you and I have spent a lot of time talking about. I mean, I literally had two people in two different interviews say, now, who is Eric Singleton? And I was just like, we got some educating to do, folks. So I don't even need to go down the list of some other guys. In Atlanta, by the way. Where he previously played 2 years of college football.
Baseball here, though, like we're so knee deep in the weeds. Like I get where like people are maybe just not checking in, especially those from like some big markets. But like, come on, man.
It's like I guess Elo Mendoza and Ahmad Hardy. We'll skip them.
I can give you a pass there, but do you know Arch Manning?
Have you heard of him?
Are you familiar with the name?
But this is a Missouri team that everybody that I spoke to or that kind of asked me about them, and I had some good things to say, they were really surprised. And I understand quarterback, that's got to work out. We don't know. Actually, I mean, Drinkwitz on our show told us, like, hold on now. Sam Horn's still here, which I wanted to kind of interrupt him and say, Coach, Sam Horn's been there for like 4 years now, and I don't feel like he's been able to really make a whole lot of headway. But if you want to say he's in the mix, that's great. But Bo Prabula, Sam Horn, that's got to work out. Experience on the O-line, experience on the D-line, good tight end group. We just mentioned a running back coming in from ULM that we like. Drink said he loves their wide receivers, and you're going to have the same coordinators on both sides of the ball. I think that's meaningful. I think it means a lot. Might not be a 10, 11-win football team, but I think they're going to be sporty, and I think they're going to be able to give some people some problems as they begin fall camp today. What's kind of your outlook after spending more time with more people on the SEC and on Missouri last week? Well, I guess that was 2 weeks ago now.
Well, yeah, we went through it on Friday and kind of talked about what success looks like for each SEC team. I feel like for Missouri, 9 wins is about right. And as weird as that may sound, because I don't feel like – I think some people look at 9 wins as though that's not like an elite year. To me, that is – in today's day and age in college football, you win 9, you got to feel pretty good. Because if you win 9, you're in the mix with the college football playoff. And if you're in the mix with the college football playoff, you should feel good about what your season looks like. Now, for some fan bases, that's not enough. But for Missouri, I would think that'd be pretty dang remarkable. I think they can get there. A lot of it's going to come down to quarterback play. A lot of it's going to come down to can they adequately place a piece or two on the offensive line. And I think if they can just be as kind of same, if not slightly better on defense than they were last year, then anything's possible. But I like Missouri this year. I really do.
All right, so I think it can be a team that can be pretty good. It can give some people some problems. I think the first thing that people are going to point to is the schedule, and you and I try hard not to judge teams by the schedule as far as what they're going to be just based on the actual team that people are going to have to play against and that they're going to see. But it is a little bit of a forgiving schedule by SEC standards. I also think that there are a couple games in there that are a little bit more tricky than some people want to count for and some people are going to discuss. A lot of folks are going to just kind of bypass that Kansas game. That's a rivalry that goes back a long way. That's one that there's going to be a lot of discussion. I'm not saying that the two players on these two teams know a ton about it. Some might, but that for them it's not. But there will be a lot of buzz. I think it'll be a good crowd. There'll be a lot of conversation, probably more media attention than they're used to getting. And then I think Louisiana, you're going to get a physical team that comes to Faurot Field the next week. And one thing you never want to really see, in my opinion at least, after you play maybe a tough game, mentally taxing game, is somebody that comes in there and just wants to try to fight you and push you around. And I think the Cajuns will do that. And then South Carolina the next week. So, listen, you got Bama at home. You're at Auburn, at Vandy, A&M at home. Mississippi State's not one that a lot of people think is going to be super dangerous, but you're at Oklahoma, at Arkansas to close it out. The road schedule's tough for this team because you look at some of the games that you would say, oh, they'll get that one. Some people might say that about Auburn, Vandy, Arkansas. Some people might not be buying Oklahoma the way that we are. We got to play all those on the road, and that's different. And then the Kansas game is going to be different. So it's not as light, in my opinion. It's lighter, don't get me wrong, but maybe not as light as a lot of folks are kind of, I guess, projecting it to be.
Well, it's all a matter of perspective. Like it's not insurmountable, but we went through and spent a decent amount of time on the ACC last week. Like you want to talk about the discrepancy between the hardest schedule in the ACC and the easiest schedule in the ACC? It's massive. And the ACC teams, a la North Carolina, they have a pretty easy path to 8 or 9. Seriously. In the SEC, there is no easy path. It's just this path is not quite as daunting as the one that might be played by Florida, the one that might be played by Oklahoma, and a couple others. Like I think that the SEC does a pretty good job of balancing their schedules. So while some might say it's slightly easier because of who you avoid, I still think Missouri's schedule is really tough. I still really believe in a team like Texas A&M, who a lot of people don't necessarily agree with. I think Auburn's going to be really good. People don't see that. So I think there's plenty of difficulty on their schedule.
So I did Josh Pate's show, something that he did. I don't know who it was for even still at Media Days. And we were talking about ranking the teams. And he kind of laid it out this way, which I had not really thought of yet. And that was essentially that, if you tell South Carolina fan, Missouri fan, hey, you're going to finish 5th in the SEC.
Yeah.
And you take Bama, Georgia, LSU, Texas, put them ahead, and you probably say, when you really thought about it, man, that's solid. Like 5 teams from the SEC should at least be in the picture for the college football playoff. Be okay. You tell them they're going to finish 10th, 11th, they'll probably be pretty mad. They're not going to like that. But the discrepancy between 5 and 10 or 5 and 11 could almost be equal, the same. We could be looking at teams that are essentially mirrors of themselves that finish 5th in the SEC and that finish 11th in the SEC. Like that's where those middle of the pack teams are, and that's how close it could be. So maybe schedule is something that does give Missouri a little benefit of the doubt. I think if those teams are that close, schedule and then guys that can take over games. Because you're going to have people step up in close games, late in games. You're going to need Dylan Stewart, Lenora Sellers. You're going to need Eric Singleton to go out there and just say, you know what, give me the ball. I'll John Mateer to go out there and say, I got it.
Yes.
And they can get it done.
I also think the amount of teams that are going to be somewhere between 3 and 5 and 5 and 3 is going to be pretty dang amazing this year. And the difference between, say, a 5 and 3 and a 7 and 1 in the SEC might be one individual's performance. And there's not that many like that out there. There's actually very few. I think guys that I know without a shadow of a doubt can take over games. You know who I don't put on that list right now? Arch Manning. I don't know that yet. We'll see. It'd be great if he could.
He might.
Might very. You know who we don't know if that can do that? Gunnar Stockton. Might, probably not. Maybe so. I have no idea. We know DJ Lagway can. We know Lenora Sellers can. We know Garrett Nussmeier can. And that's kind of about it. And there might be a defensive player, too, that can do that. Dylan Stewart's being one of them. Kind of like Harold Perkins did a couple years back against Arkansas. Like that one game where it's like, goodness gracious alive. Like this guy's the best player on the field. It's not even close. So it can be have other positions, but quarterback is the most likely. And I have not seen a ton from guys in the league right now that make me feel super confident about them being able to do that.
So if that was our sort of starting, I guess, floor equation for the middle of the pack of teams that we're going to be able to finish 4th, 5th, 6th instead of 9th, 10th, 11th, who has those advantages in the league? We just mentioned South Carolina, so we know that. So they're a team that has an advantage like that. I would put, well, maybe not from both perspectives. I was thinking more guys that can take over games. I was going to say I put Florida there, but that schedule doesn't allow for that. I mean, you got Caleb Banks on defense. You got Lagway on offense, maybe a Jaden Ball on offense, but the schedule's not going to really allow for that. So we would go to the next team in, is it Texas? Does Texas A&M have those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope. I think Texas A&M has an identity that can take over the game. If they start pounding the ball, they start getting after it. Maybe Cash Howell is who we think he is on defense. Like I could see them being a problem, like the way they were running the ball there at times midway point of the last season.
What's interesting, because Michigan starts practice today, does Oklahoma have the schedule? We know they have the takeover guys.
Yeah.
Really both on offense and defense. Probably a couple guys on defense. I don't know if they would stand out versus everybody else in the SEC, but guys who I think at times can absolutely take over a game and be problematic enough to make a big difference. Do they have that schedule that allows it? Here's what concerns me about Oklahoma's schedule is you have a lot of new guys that can do some good things. What was the biggest problem last year?
Blocking.
How about availability of guys who are capable of blocking first? Maybe that.
You're saying that availability is more important than ability?
You're dinged up. You're banged up. You were hurt. And you didn't have depth. Because I do think when we talk about all this depth across college football, one thing that we haven't talked a lot about is let's just be honest. Some teams stay healthier than others, and I can remember multiple times where Alabama will be a little bit more dinged up than other years, and all of a sudden everybody hates the strength coach. It's like, strength coach ain't focusing on ACLs. Well, I don't think any of them do, but it's just some teams seem to be more dinged up than others on a yearly basis. If that trend continues for Oklahoma, you look at the halfway point of the season, after that you go Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit dinged up down that stretch, it might not matter who you brought in.
No.
Because John Mateer's great, but if John Mateer has the protection that either of the quarterbacks had last year, he ain't going to be great this year. He's just not.
No shot.
So, and if you don't have pass catchers like they didn't have last year, you're going to have trouble beating some of those teams on your schedule.
No question.
So
I still think it's going to be tough sledding to stay healthy and not drop off whatsoever. Everybody drops off a little bit now. Then no one's going to stay healthy the whole year. There's just no way. Not anymore. It's too physical. There's no way you're going to make it through an entire season without being a little banged up at certain places. Now, you might be playing, you might not miss games, but you're going to be hurting. There's going to be guys that are in pain that are not capable of giving you 100% effort.
Yeah, they don't give you what you used to have.
That's you're not getting through it without being 100% healthy anymore. Just everyone's going to give you banged up. It's just the way we're at.
So does Ole Miss have that formula? Obviously, a lot of guys I would have a hard time finding the takeover guy defensively. I wouldn't really give him that. Offensively,
Taryn Perkins.
He would be the closest thing to it. Yeah. And I don't know if he is. I look at him as more really good at a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. Where is he? What is this single aspect of his game that's just dominant? It's not picking on him. It's just if he was going to go out there and
unbelievable speed. Problem is he's just not very big. So he can't run through contact the way some other linebackers can.
So I would find it hard for him to just say, okay, we're going to line you up over this guy. Like a Whit Weeks is somebody who we would put in that category. Okay, it's just you do what you want to do and just make life hell on the offense. And he could do that. I don't know if Perkins can be that guy. Number one, with how they ask him to play. And then number two, with just the facets of his game. You're not lining them up outside over a tackle and saying, we need 5 sacks today. Go get them. And he's going to be that guy. But I think he's great at a lot of things.
Delayed blitzes, green dogs, things like that. He's a handful.
But is he taking over games? Maybe he does. Possibly. And offense, they have that guy. And in the schedule, maybe a smidge lighter than some of the others. I mean, you do have Georgia. You have Tulane in the non-con, which is not going to be a walkthrough. It's just not.
I think their schedule's tougher than people realize. You still got Florida. You got Tulane. You got Oklahoma
on the road. Georgia, Oklahoma on the road. Back to back weeks.
LSU comes to you. I think their schedule's tougher than that's one that everyone keeps pointing to. I'm I think that schedule's kind of tough.
Egg Bowl on the road.
Egg Bowl on the road last week of the season. Never know. I mean, at that point, will Mississippi State be playing for a bowl game? Probably not. So it's their Super Bowl. I think their schedule's a lot tougher than people realize.
All right, you chime in on this conversation if you want to. Teams that have that formula that if the middle of the pack is going to be that, who has the better opportunity to extend, take over players, and maybe a schedule that's going to allow for it just a little bit more. 800-239-9569. You can get in. You can text in 205-834-9450. Back with more Mac and Q right after this. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We will continue that conversation on teams that we feel like have the formula to extend in the middle of the pack in the league this year. That is a little bit of a lighter schedule and then also take over players, maybe on both sides of the ball. First, he joins us each and every week thanks to our friends at Craneworks from ESPN, the SEC Network, and right here on Jox. It's Paul Finebaum. Paul, always glad to have you in on a Monday. Some scuttlebutt noise around North Carolina to the SEC. I want to get your take on it because the noise sounds like it's coming from North Carolina potentially looking for a way to be able to make that happen. What do you have? What are you hearing? What do you know about this potential move at any point in time?
Well, I think number one, one of the people that we talked to the other day seemed to indicate that the commissioner was involved, and I don't speak for anyone like you guys don't speak for anyone, but I think it's safe to know that anyone who is close to or has been around Greg Sankey knows this. He has not spoken formally or informally to anyone. That's just not how he works, and that's not how he is going to work, especially in light of what happened a couple of years ago. It sounds very much to me like people close to North Carolina are floating this out there, probably frustrated with their current position, even though the ACC is now singing Kumbaya. We all know that there are a lot of anxious schools in there. So I know I've said all that as a preamble, Cole, to say that I think ultimately it's going to happen. I know I took a long way to get to the lead here, but I think once we get to this next iteration, North Carolina has always been the number one choice of many people in SEC circles. I think the bigger question is when exactly does it happen? And secondly, who would their drafting partner be?
Well, that's the big question. One would assume it'd be Virginia, but I don't know if at this point anyone would be comfortable with that. But it kind of checks out, Paul. Every single time a team hires a superstar head coach, they seem to be on the move. Colorado's an example. A splashy head coach. They seem to be on the move. Texas hiring Sarkisian. These are not really that uncommon. You can kind of connect the dots back, and Bill Belichick now being in North Carolina makes you feel like, you know what, there might be something into this. So who do you think the drafting partner would be?
Well, I think you said it there. We had a guest on the other day who Greg, who basically said, "This is what I heard, although I can't back it up." He mentioned, of course, I'm actually doing worse than he did. I'm quoting what he said, but he said that Virginia was also being coveted by the Big Ten. By the way, so is North Carolina. There's no one that the SEC would be comfortable with, that the Big Ten wouldn't be comfortable with, because of the power. So I think then you start to get into the next level. Is it Florida State? I feel far more strongly saying that it is not Florida State than anyone else. Just go back 2 years ago. We all watched that circus going on down there. And not only that, we saw the program implode last year, which doesn't help you in any way. Which brings me to the school that I think gets the most conversation about, and that is Clemson. I might have said some time back that I didn't think Clemson was really in a good position. I think they're probably in a better position now, only because in this world that we live in, it is about buzz, it is about sizzle, and it is about matchups. And you put Clemson against anyone on the upper level of the SEC, and it's a far better game than it would be if you put Florida State against them. And I know that's contradictory to the earlier card, Virginia, because they don't really bring much buzz to anyone other than in an academic presidential setting. But I think Clemson has gained a little bit of traction in the parlor game. That's all we're talking about here. Because the question for every one of these schools within a state that has a SEC schools is what is the position? I've already talked about Florida State. Would South Carolina try to stand in Clemson's way? And if they did, could they, and would they be able to stop them? So those are the questions. I think after that, there are any number of possibilities, but none which would have as much gravitas as Clemson would.
Paul Finebaum joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Thanks for Creighton Works. He's with us each and every Monday. After you heard from multiple Big Ten coaches last week, essentially taking their shots at the Southeastern Conference scheduling coaches, do you feel like there was any sort of collective discussion at all between any number of individuals in that league to try and send some sort of a message?
Without a doubt, Cole. And you walk out of conference media days, and what was the buzz a week ago about SEC? Well, maybe it wasn't as exciting. There were one or two stories that occurred about this time 2 weeks ago that seemed to lead the conversation, but no one said it was anything but a successful 4-day event. I'm looking back on the 4 days of the Big Ten, and I'm going to tell you right now, it was a bust. It was a bust from the beginning, and it was a bust all the way to the end. And it was a bust because it seems to me that Tony Petitti and his minions, whether it was him directly or indirectly, tried to hand deliver a specific message that went over terribly. Petitti started it off. Again, this is someone who has been on milk cartons all summer because we haven't been able to find him. And finally he comes out and instead of broadening his approach to, which is what Greg Sankey said 2 weeks ago today, that, I talked to Tony Petitti 4 or 5 times last week. I talked to Jim Phillips. I talked to Yormark, meaning I'm trying to work within my commissioner base. Petitti was a lone wolf. Now that's on one hand. The biggest problem with last week wasn't what Petitti said and wasn't what the coaches said. It's where it was being said. Other than hoteliers, nobody liked the idea of taking this media days to Las Vegas. You heard James Franklin. I don't agree with that much from James Franklin, but he was dead on. What benefit did they get out of going to the Strip in Vegas? What benefit did they get to doing it out in the middle of the desert? None. Fewer people could go. One thing about media days, it's not for us at ESPN or the SEC network. It's for the smaller radio stations that make money on that event. They sell advertising so they can afford the hotel and all the bills that go with taking your show on the road. And that didn't happen last week. On top of that, Tony Petitti has ticked off Ohio State fans. That's a secondary issue. But the biggest issue all week was the messaging. Kurt Signetti, like him, appreciate what he's done. Appreciate what he's done in the past, but he made a complete fool out of himself trying to draw a parallel. So did other coaches. It's like Brett Bielema came up with the game plan about 5 weeks ago and handed it out to his coaching buddies, and none of them delivered it well. If you're going to go after the SEC, there are places you can attack, but don't try to attack on the strength of schedule, and don't try to attack on the non-conference games, because we all know that Michigan 2 years ago played one of the most embarrassing non-conference schedules in the history of the game. And Penn State is playing the most embarrassing non-conference schedule for a contender this year that I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, Virginia, Paul, Indiana having to cancel Virginia. That's one that I would avoid too. I don't blame Signetti. If I can get out of that game, I absolutely would, in favor of 3
absolutely.
FCS
Wahoos.
teams. Yeah, the Wahoos are a juggernaut, so I definitely wouldn't want to have to hop over that hurdle. Looking at the Big Ten this year, Paul, is it as simple as Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon? Is it that simple, or is there maybe a little more to it?
I don't think there's a whole lot more to it. Could they have somebody? Could Illinois? I'll defer to you, Greg. I'm not sure. I know their personnel as well as you would, but I think they've come a long way under Bielema, and I appreciate that. That's a guy who's on quite a comeback story. But it looks like Penn State's the best team. And as you say that, I know what Ohio State's capable of. It's like 8 or 9 years ago saying I don't think Alabama's going to be able to do it. And then Alabama goes out and loses 2 games, doesn't go to the SEC championship game, and wins the national championship. I mean, it just feels like that's the kind of season Ohio State is bracing for. I don't think Michigan is there yet. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. I don't expect Indiana to come back. And so and Oregon to me, is it a transitional year? I mean, probably it's always a transitional year out there at quarterback. Right. But I still believe Dan Lanning is one of the 5 best coaches in the country that everybody has conveniently forgotten about because of a truly embarrassing afternoon at the Rose Bowl.
Well, I ask you that question, Paul, because they had described, and I forget which coach it was. He said how there was absolutely no depth in the SEC. Meanwhile, the Big Ten, I honestly don't think I can remember a year in which Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State didn't win the Big Ten. I know Oregon won last year, but I don't really count last year as kind of a new world order. I feel like the lack of depth and the lack of parity in the Big Ten is at an all-time high, and yet they're sitting there describing how the SEC has no depth because 6 teams have won the conference for the last 60 years. To me, 6 teams is a lot more than the Big Ten has. So help me understand where they came up with that sentiment.
I think Rhett Lashley wrote that one for them.
Oh, is it Rhett? Yeah, that's what it was. Exactly.
Yeah, Rhett became an honorary Big Ten coach for the day, and I don't want to say anymore. I don't want to say any more about Rhett because he gave everybody multiple fodder last week. But maybe, by the way, maybe Rhett Lashley is trying to become a Big Ten coach. Maybe that's why he said all that.
Breaking news, Paul?
Well, frankly, I think there's a better chance Rhett Lashley is an SEC coach a year from now than a Big Ten coach. But I'll leave it up to his agent to find him a good job.
There you go, Paul. We always appreciate it. Always great stuff on Mondays. Great to see you at Media Days, and thanks for hopping on with us today.
Enjoyed it, guys. Thank you.
Paul Finebaum joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. He's with us every Monday, thanks to our friends at Craneworks. There are lots of unpack there, a lot to continue to discuss. We'll go back to our teams in the middle of the SEC. Do they have that recipe to be able to move forward, leap ahead of the rest? All that and more after this on Jox. And just to follow up a little bit on where Paul was going with that, what do you think the mentality was in the Big Ten, Greg, with some of the shots that were fired off and some of the things that the coaches had to say about different portions of the Southeastern Conference?
We spent a little time on it last week. I didn't feel like it was some type of coordinated attack. I do think, though, that the Big Ten is in a bit of an unenviable spot because they're the only ones that want to do the automatic qualifier 4-4-2-2-1-1 format. So they're trying to whip up support, and they're not. Their constituents will listen to them because Big Ten always kind of has issues with the SEC, but I don't think there's very many people that want to see us adopt that model. I don't know anybody that wants that model, frankly, outside of Tony Petitti and the members of the Big Ten. So I think they're just trying to whip up support, and I think they know that the only way the SEC is going to change their tune is to get them to play 9 conference games. And that would be what would maybe lead to them feeling a little better about the 4-4-2-2-1-1 model. So I think they want the SEC to play 9 conference games. So therefore, they're making fun of the SEC schedule. And they hope that in time, if they adopt the 9 conference games, they'll be more open to the 4-4-2-2 automatic qualifier format.
Alabama heat humidity can be brutal. Don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. Find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com. It's hard to stop a Trane. Just interesting that it did.
Is that how you see it?
Yeah, but it did feel pointed. I mean, I did feel like I just don't feel like that many coaches in one league individually want to get up in front of the media and have directed comments at a certain league or individuals in one setting. And there it did. I'm almost with Paul that there was some sort of a memo or some sort of discussion, and maybe it was different individuals at different times, so it comes across that way. It felt more collective, I think, to me. But we'll never know if that's how it went down or that was the case.
And we didn't always hear the questions either. Like, it could have absolutely been a pointed question, which is why I don't ever look too much into that. But I do think that the SEC and the Big Ten are really at odds on this playoff thing. And I think the Big Ten is really ticked off that the SEC still continues to do an 8-game conference schedule. Like, that really frustrates them. Because they basically were forced into a 9-game conference schedule because of Fox, and they wanted X amount of money, and the SEC wasn't forced into playing 9. So yeah, I think that makes them mad. But I don't think the SEC is going to be changing for the Big Ten anytime soon.
You brought up a really interesting point there, and I think we hit this on the last day of media days because so many people were talking about the conference game schedules and this, that, and everybody kept bringing up, well, the Big Ten does this. And I remember doing an interview, I think it was Thursday, and I said, you guys know when the Big Ten media rights were up, right? And there was kind of no response. And I said, well, maybe go back and check the calendar of when they decided to go to 9 games and what came directly after that. And it was a new media rights deal. Remember how many records it set and how many people talked about how much it was?
Yeah.
Well, those two happened to kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a reason that took place when it did. And obviously there was a gigantic pile of money that came along with that. So it wasn't for fun.
It wasn't voluntary.
One kid, the coaches thought it was cool. It was like, hey, y'all want an extra 15, 20 a year? Yeah. Well, we got to play each other one more time.
Yes.
So that's just sort of how it works. That's sort of how it goes. So
amazing.
Good luck.
Amazing how that happens.
But we'll be on at big noon.
Ooh.
What? Is that not what it got him?
Also mad.
Is that not what it got him?
Okay. Also mad.
Not mad at all.
How mad though that they have to play their biggest games of the year at noon?
I would be.
I wouldn't be.
Unless I was Ohio State, where we're not allowed to play at night after November 1st. Or is it October 21st?
No, I think it's November 1st. And you're not allowed to play at night. I don't think Ohio State's the biggest griper in that mix. I think Michigan is. Penn State, meanwhile.
Hold on
mad.
a second. Paul said Petitti made Ohio State fans mad. Well, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I was trying to look that up.
That?
I literally looked that up. Petitti, Ohio State. I didn't see anything.
I don't know. I didn't follow him there with what happened. I wasn't completely dialed into Big Ten Media Days from that perspective either. But
I mean, all I see is a story about Ryan Day echoing Tony Petitti's comments on the college football playoff. Oh, yeah, I know what it was. Tony Petitti argues that Michigan shouldn't receive further penalties from sign stealing. That's why. Ohio State fans want Michigan to have the death penalty from sign stealing, and Tony Petitti doesn't think they should. So Ohio State fans are then mad at Petitti. I think it makes sense. That tracks.
But if you're a commissioner,
of course,
you really want to hold down one of your biggest brands longer than necessary? I'm not saying they don't deserve any punishment, but
whose side are you on? I am 100% in alliance with Tony Petitti there. Like, I wouldn't want anything more. If they do it, fine. But at least I tried to make them not do it.
Yeah, I think common sense will tell you
optics.
probably not great for business to hold down one of your bigger brands for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's keep them from being in the mix. That's a great idea for our conference.
Yes. Which
So,
I think.
Let's prop Purdue up.
Yes.
We love Barry Odom, but maybe
in fairness, yeah, Michigan moves the needle just slightly more than Rutgers. But it's close because Rutgers is New York school.
Who do you think moves the meter more historically, Ohio State or Michigan?
Michigan.
It's a very interesting answer because I almost want to agree with you. And I think because of the recency bias.
It's a great question.
And Michigan has a national title in the last 3 years. But I think most people would look at 2 years. People look at that and easily say Ohio State. And I think Ohio State has had a lot more flash. Ohio State has had probably more
success in this generation.
Yeah, more better years if they didn't win a title than Michigan. But historically, I think it's probably Michigan.
Michigan has the most wins ever.
That's one place to start.
So we can start with that.
Michigan has more titles, correct?
I don't know if they have more titles. I bet you it's comparable.
Oh, it's comparable, but I don't know exactly where it is. But and I think overall draft picks would be really close.
Ohio State has 9 national championships.
And I think
but includes 7 recognized by major wire select.
You almost can't even look it up anymore.
I mean, it's like, come on, just tell me
we're
how
going
many
back
they have.
We're going back.
Yeah, Michigan has 12. But these include the pre-poll era, which, as you know, big pre-polls.
By the way, do you know who has the most all-time draft picks? What school? I mean, it's not like a nobody, so it's not like that tricky. It's just I don't think it's the team that we would throw up there.
I mean, my initial thought would be
Oklahoma?
No.
USC.
They're number 2 all time. 533. Notre Dame is 538.
Really? They edged SC. I would think Notre Dame would have less than SC.
Sorry.
If you told me that.
Ohio State 3rd with 503. And I think that's another reason is with a lot of really high draft picks recently, people would push Ohio State ahead of Michigan. Again, a little bit of recency bias, but it's a cool question to think about over time because I remember when we asked this question about Texas and Oklahoma when they were coming in the SEC, and almost immediately most people, Texas. It's like, oh, hold on a second.
No, Oklahoma has traditionally, I think, a better.
And once we put them next side by side and we sort of did the tail of the tape, it wasn't even close. It was Oklahoma. Now, I don't think that this one would be, if we put the tail of the tape up there, it would not be close, but I would probably have leaned Michigan as well. And I think most people right now would just say, oh, no, Ohio State, like Damian did.
Yeah. I think in the 21st century, Ohio State has absolutely had more success than Michigan. Absolutely not close. But I think if you want to go back to like the 90s, you want to go back to like the 30s, both very important decades.
I mean, Ohio State fired, 2 coaches because they couldn't beat Michigan in the 90s?
Yes.
And had good teams, but
it
was similar to, it was like a Bill Curry situation where it was like, if you can't beat that team, you're not staying here. You're doing really well, but we got to beat them.
Correct.
And
Ryan Day
it
is
wasn't
still
happening.
on the hot seat, according to some
right.
Ohio State fans.
Fresh after
Think about how
With the
backwards
title.
that is. Think about what we're dealing with right
Tomorrow on First Take, Ryan Day, coach at Ohio State this year or no?
pressure.
now.
Pressure.
Does Ryan Day make it to the postseason next year if he loses to Michigan? Up next on
Does
First
Ryan Day make it to week 2?
Take. I told him if they lost to Michigan. I love it. We're doing Ohio, still super southern. I think it's actually a very good question. I would lean Michigan, but I can't say with certainty. I really can't. I would say it's probably pretty close, which is why that rivalry is so universally beloved because of how close it is over the course of time.
By the way, Ohio State does lead the way in first-round draft picks with 95 all time.
That's not a few.
That's a lot. It's
Development.
9 more than USC with 86. And then Alabama will be next with 84.
I'm
Michigan,
shocked
by the
that-
way, is not even in. They're not even in the top 23.
It's about team.
More first round. This would be a Michigan actually comes in at 8th. I'm sorry, I missed them. 55. So Ohio State lapping Michigan in that department. Texas, Florida, Miami, to no surprise. Notre Dame, Alabama, SC, all more first-round draft picks than Michigan.
SC is like the forgotten giant.
Yes, I would agree.
Like nobody talks about SC as like a forgotten. Like they were the giant of all giants when we were kids. When I was a kid, like they were a juggernaut, and I feel like they've come under some challenging times. But guys, they're only like 2 years removed from being a game away from playing in the college football playoff.
That feels like it disappears faster than ever.
No one remembers that. Like nobody. If they win the Pac-12, and they lost to Utah that year, but if they win the Pac-12, they are in the college football playoff 2 years ago. And Caleb Williams, by the way, like pulls his hamstring in the second quarter. If he doesn't pull his hamstring in the second quarter, I think we were watching this game on like a Friday night, and we're sitting there.
Is this the game? Was that the game where he went and cried in the stands afterwards?
No, that was, I think, against Notre Dame. That feels familiar.
Oh, it was
It's
familiar.
a shame that that's what I
think,
remember about his college career. But
Yeah. Anyways, I just feel like that people will automatically chalk up Lincoln Riley's tenure as a complete failure. Meanwhile, he's a game away 2 years ago from making the college football playoff, which is not that bad.
how would you phrase this question? Who is the bigger college football brand all time, Ohio State or Michigan? Is that how you would phrase
Yeah,
this
I
question?
think that's the right way of phrasing it.
Okay. I might throw that out on social media and go to that in just a moment. But there is a social media topic that we need to discuss. We'll begin that discussion next. First, let's tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you're lacking energy, not getting sleep, feeling on edge, could be low testosterone. Game Day Men's Health wants to help you out with that. They can do it as well as help you with peptides that can help you with anti-aging, maybe losing weight. Maybe that's sleep that you're losing can be a part of that. They have multiple weight loss programs. They're at Game Day Men's Health, and here's what they're going to do for you. You just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. You're going to get the free testosterone test. You get the free PSA test. By doing that, they're going to have a baseline where you are with your health, and then they're going to give you the different options in which they can help you. All at Game Day Men's Health. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Sign up for that free consultation. You get all those things for free. Then save 10% on any service they offer by mentioning Mac and Cube. So you can walk in the door with no money down, and then you're going to save on any service that they have that you may need. Minimal upfront cost from every program that they offer that's different than their competitors. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Speaking of social media, there's a social media conversation that we need to have based on some local interaction. We'll do it next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 7:52, Monday, July 28th, right here on Jox 94.5. And some interesting happenings over the weekend on social media. Before we get to that, Damien, tell our listeners about the Jox Kickoff, which is coming up here soon.
Yeah, you can celebrate college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party at Regions Field on Thursday, August 21st. And the only way to go is by winning tickets. To win a pair of tickets for you and a guest, text the keyword kickoff. That's the keyword kickoff and your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily. For more information, visit joxfm.com.
I saw this there's this new thing going around on Twitter, and Greg probably doesn't know about it. And I say probably.
That's why I love these.
I say probably for a reason, though.
It's pretty impressive.
Probably for a reason. Just hold on a second. Okay. Because there's this new trend where everybody's asking Grok, which is the Twitter AI function, which is Elon Musk's AI.
Yes.
I guess there is a Grok that's not just on Twitter, by the way. I've been made aware of that. And so Damien asks Grok who the most famous person is to visit his account. People all over the place are asking this question.
Nice.
And you want to know who's the most famous person that's visited your account.
Love it.
And Grok had a really interesting comeback for Damien. Now, this is interesting in more ways than one. Not just for who the individual was, but kind of something else about it. Damien says, hey, Grok, who's the most famous person to visit my profile? And then it's like, does it need to be mutual? Don't tag them, whatever. And Grok responds, now, Grok usually gives you like a description of who it is and why and everything else. And the response was Greg McElroy, period.
Straight to it.
Heck yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, bro.
I got your back, bro. I'm following.
Now, Damien responded with a gif of, oh, well, that's very underwhelming.
It kind of is. I mean, I'd be a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'd be a little disappointed.
But the conversation keeps going.
So Grok responds to that. Ha. Fair reaction. Greg McElroy might feel every day as your Mac and Cube co-host. I like that you're his co-host, according to AI.
It's McElroy and Cubelic and Mitchell in the morning. Like, it's just in
how dialed is Rock?
It's very.
Grok listens.
Goes on to say, but his national title, yours, individually.
Yours. Appreciate it.
You got that.
Solo.
And ESPN status make him pretty famous. Expecting someone like Saban, question mark?
That's what Grok said back?
Yes.
Dang, Grok's got some attitude. Let's go.
The conversation gets better.
Damien says, great point. I don't know. Just expected like maybe Josh Heupel, Billy Napier, Greg Sankey could have swung by my profile, something. Appreciate your input, though. He says, Grok responds again. Those would be epic visitors. Check the data. No signs of Heupel, Napier, or Sankey dropping by your profile yet. But with your SEC radio presence, it's only a matter of time. Greg's still a champ-level get.
Grok rocks with
Let's
you, though.
ride.
Now,
Go.
Here's the most intriguing part of this to me. How has Greg McElroy stopped by Damien's profile when Greg McElroy is not on Twitter anymore?
I guess like the digital footprint or something. Probably years ago, he probably stumbled upon.
I mean, my Twitter still exists. I just don't use it. I don't access it. I don't have access to it.
Or do you say you don't use it and you're using it and not telling us?
Yeah. Let me just tell you, my mental health is much better since I've been off Twitter. So my level of mood, happiness, all around just living a good, clean life. I think you'd probably be able to tell if I was back on social media. I'd be in a dark hole every day.
So I'll ask this also. Who do you think is the most famous person to visit my account? You don't have to answer it. You can think about it during the break. We'll come back, discuss that. I'll give you who that is on the other side. And then we'll continue our conversation about formula for middle-of-the-pack SEC teams, potentially allowing them to separate from the rest. All that more next right here on Jox. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 8 a.m. Monday, July 28th, right here on Jox 94.5. Titans making some moves over the weekend. Will Levis, season-ending injured reserve list based on that shoulder surgery. Lorenzo Carter is on the reserve retired list, and they've signed Jamar Jefferson, running back. Also, Treylon Burks, fractured collarbone in practice. I think we're getting to the point that one's just not going to work.
Yep.
I don't. It's unfortunate because I like the kid, and I think he could have been a really good player, but you got to be on the field. You got to be available.
I mean, I feel like has he finished the season yet?
Nope.
No.
Not a single one.
Not even close, I don't think. So Chargers also make Rashawn Slater the highest paid offensive lineman ever. 4 years, $114 million. He deserves it, man. He's really good. Really good. So, and it's good to see some offensive linemen getting paid. As much as Greg hates that. It's good to see that happen. So.
Goodness gracious. Such a homer.
No, just reality.
Such an O-line homer.
No.
I'm great with O-linemen getting paid. I want them to get paid as much as humanly possible because that means if they're getting paid as much as humanly possible, it means they're pretty good. If they're pretty good, I'm safe.
All right, so we discussed in the break this new social media trend taking the world by storm. Did you guys have a guess you wanted to throw out on the most famous person to visit my account?
Barack Obama.
I was thinking more.
It's just going to be a no.
I was thinking more along the lines of like a Kirk Herbstreit or something.
No. I would love to see how much further ahead this person was than some folks like that. But yeah, no.
I mean, I have.
That was a wild guess.
It was out there.
I don't feel like it's that wild. I mean, as a sports fan, like I
just didn't think that was gonna pop up.
I feel like it's a fair guess. I mean, it's not like it's like that. It's not like it's that far out of left field.
Is he a big football fan? I don't know. I know he talks about basketball a lot. I hadn't heard his comments on football that much.
I'm not sure. Whew, that was cool.
Sean tweets in a screenshot based on public engagements. Most famous visitor to your profile appears to be Cole Cubelic. Some of these, like when you respond to someone, I assume that counts, that you're in on going to their account.
Yeah, I would think so for sure.
I know Damien's was disappointing by being you. Mine was actually Clay Travis.
Whoa.
Okay.
How many followers is Clay up to now? I don't, because I'm assuming that's what. I mean, he's at 1.3 million followers, so
that's a lot.
Probably ahead of a lot of people in the college football circles or sports circles. Not that Barack Obama is there.
I want to go now. I really want to see mine now. I just need to figure out how to log into my Twitter.
That'll help.
Ask whoever runs your Twitter to do that for you. Barack Obama, 130 million followers. He would have been a little bit ahead.
That would have been
been a step ahead there.
Been cool.
And no, Greg is not trying to imply anything political.
No.
Towards me or anyone else.
Somebody. No, it's not. I'm just trying to think of like someone off the top of my head. I don't know why I came to mind.
Hilarious. It was a hilarious out of left field, though.
I just want the most random famous person I could think of. And that felt like it was a pretty good one.
There you go.
Could have said like Master P or,
Oh, that would have taken that
Chingy, yeah.
I don't think he would have qualified. Master P, 193,000 followers.
Okay.
Got him.
A little bit less than what I thought, but.
Would not have defeated Clay Travis.
No.
Would not have knocked him out there.
No. What made him say,
Josh Pate asked, and his was Scott Van Pelt.
Okay.
So. Scott at 2 million followers.
2 milli.
Good to see Scott not coming by my account to check out the college football items. But yeah, nonetheless, there you go.
That's a lot. 2 million, that is. That's a whole lot.
It's a lot of people. Probably makes the interactions fun. I could imagine. not enjoyable most of the time. But hey, when you wear $715 bathing suits, you got it like that.
Yeah.
And that's just, you get to a different level.
Yeah.
You do things in a different way. So that's what it is. But yeah, I figured we just had to talk about that since Damien's ended up being you, Greg.
I love where we're at.
Thank you, Greg.
Trending.
Are you able to get in? I actually do want to see this now. I want to see.
I don't know how to get in. I don't know my password, so it's kind of
202,000 followers for Greg McElroy.
boom.
Hey,
That's right. Triple dig.
six,
leader
but
leader
yeah.
in this clubhouse, in this building. So, yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't even be able to begin to
I'm
guess.
about to test this with the Mac and Cube account.
Maybe it'll
so
be
stand by.
yeah, please do that as well. I want to see who the most famous person is to stop our shows.
So
account.
So when you get on Grok, how do you get it?
For this you just
this
tweet
is
at
Grok.
Grok.
It's gonna be like I'm talking to my grandfather, but y'all are talking to me. You get on Grok and you just ask Grok a question.
You just tag him.
Oh,
I don't
you
know if it's a
tag.
him or her. You
Okay.
tag it.
Tag it.
So you say, like Damien just did it from our account. Hey, at Grok, who was the most famous person to visit my profile? It doesn't need to be mutual. Don't tag them. Just say who it was. That's how everybody has stated. So he just copy and pasted that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they'll
Any
probably take a
response?
couple-
What's
It'll
taking
take,
Grok
it'll
so
take a
long?
couple minutes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, give a few. Be
he-
patient.
I think Google searches everything out there, every search platform, goes through all of it. So, yeah, it takes him just a little while to work. I'm sure a lot of people are asking right now too. Grok's busy, man.
Right.
A lot of people asking stupid questions out there.
I feel like
Like
Grok,
every video on the internet, if you look at it and look at the replies, hey, at Grok, tell us what happened here. Or is he, she okay? Did he, she die? Did he, she get arrested? Grok's got a lot of that coming in right now. A
Grok's
lot of
trying
those stupid videos out there where you got to answer the questions of, are they alive? Did they get hurt? Are they okay? Who is that person? So, yeah, it's a lot to cipher through. You can imagine.
Yeah, Grok probably doesn't make enough money for how much interaction he's expected to do.
Grok doesn't need any money.
Nah,
Grok don't need money.
No,
do it for the love of the game.
Does he do it for food?
he's got information. When you need
Bandwidth.
money, why do you need money when you got information?
Data?
That's it. He's got all of it. Not worried about that.
Not worried about it.
So,
It's things like this that I miss social media for.
yeah, the stupidity.
Yes. 100%.
I'm just telling you, I know it's been a while since you've been on Twitter, but if you want stupid videos, now's your time.
Is it good?
Oh,
It might be better than ever.
It's
See, that's part of why I left.
different
That's
level.
part of why I left it. I felt like I would look at like my screen time, and I'd have like 48 minutes a day on Twitter. I'm like, I accomplished nothing.
Well, it takes a few minutes to watch a stadium brawl breakout. You can't just do that in 5 seconds.
That was, I think, part of the problem because Cole would like send me videos of stadium fights, and that now changed my algorithm. So I just watch are people fighting.
yeah,
we
now
have our
now we
answer.
got fights in Target. We got fights at jazz festivals. We got all kind of fights out there.
Boom. All right.
We've got our answer. I
What?
think it's a little bit of a recency bias.
Oh boy,
But it says the most famous person to visit your profile
I don't like that you're laughing at this. By the
is
way,
Mark Henry.
Really?
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Let's go.
Mark Henry.
Where's Mark Henry? I haven't found the picture of me in college with Mark yet, by the way, to do the comp. The Mark Henry is at 1.2 million followers.
We'll take it.
Ooh, let's go.
We'll take it.
That a boy.
I'm actually fine with that.
That's
I'm
great.
cool with it.
Definitely recency, but I love that.
Glad he checked us out after you got the interview.
He liked the interview. Had
He
a good
did.
chat.
We
He
did have
was-
a fun chat with him at Media Days.
It
If
was
you missed that, go
fantastic.
find that one on the podcast.
One
It's
of my
worth it.
probably one of my favorite guests we've ever had, and didn't have high hopes for it. Nor did I even know.
We had no idea what we were going to get.
I didn't even know he was sitting down. I didn't know it was Mark Henry until
And that's wild,
until
too.
the day before. And Cole's like, I think that's Mark Henry. I'm like, no, come on.
What did
Mark
he say
Henry's
his
3
weight
times
was and
bigger.
is now?
He's like 335.
But he was
a
like
slim.
460?
Yeah.
Is that what he
Yeah.
said?
Yeah, he said the heaviest he had ever been was like 460.
And he
You folks
looks,
don't realize how big 460 is.
he
Like,
looks good at 335.
Right.
Like he doesn't look big.
I would not have guessed 335.
No,
I would have been like, you're like right around 3 right now, maybe?
no, I would have said like
295?
275. Like he does not look.
He's got a little more width than that to be 275. Like those shoulders are like you and I together almost.
I think his arm weighs 104. Like he's just stocky.
Yeah.
You know what I
He
mean?
kind of
Like he's-
downplayed the high school football, but can you imagine him playing D-line in high school? Some of these high school linemen that we see, they're like 185. That's a cut block on every play.
He didn't play 1A. I don't think he's.
Doesn't matter.
How many
Some
guys
kids
are
just get stuck
185
there.
now?
Like not every team has a 265-pound offensive lineman in high school.
I'm not saying you do, but you probably don't have a lot of guys under like 230.
I didn't suspect he was playing against teams that recruited then either. So sometimes you get stuck with a guy. He's like a 200-pounder there at left guard. You're looking across from him like, I know we're not supposed to cut on this play, but I'm going low.
Yeah.
A lot of fall down and roll in front of him.
This is a slow developing drop back pass. Doesn't matter. I'm cutting.
What was it in Canada? An anchor that they wouldn't let him pick up?
Yes, it was.
Because it killed a guy when the
It was
other guy
an
tried to
anchor
pick it.
because when he lifted it up, it fell down and pierced his liver.
The other guy. Killed the other guy. Not
Yes. They wouldn't let him. It was too heavy, and the likelihood of death was 1 of 1. So death, batting average 1,000.
Yeah.
It would not let him lift it.
But Mark Henry said, no,
He still wanted it.
I want to go up there and get that thing up. I want to make it happen.
That to me is amazing. That's a different feat of
I
strength.
feel like we need to try that from the station too,
Yes.
just to see who's rolling by the station. Like, who's the most famous person to come check out the Jox account that's just rolling through. And then I feel like Three Man Front needs to do this as well for their show. Like, I don't know, I just need to know who's stopping by. Has Finebaum's people done this yet for his account?
I haven't seen it.
Who would your guest be? Your guest for me was great, Greg. Who would your guest be for Paul? The most famous person to stop by his account.
Yeah. I would say Barack Obama.
Is that going to be your guest for everybody?
I just feel like he's the most famous person I could think of. Like, off the top of my head, he seems like the most famous person that would like have an interest in like a legitimate interest in like keeping up in sports.
I just thought like Paul
Because
Rudd.
I think I visualized Trump. I visualized Trump's like Twitter team, and I get well, he doesn't use Twitter. First of all, he uses Truth Social, right?
Yeah.
So I can visualize his Twitter team being like 20 people all sitting around the computer, like tweeting like consistently over the course of a day, and they're not actively going to other people's Twitter handles.
It's fair.
I don't see him like going and like doing due diligence on other people's. Oh, I wonder what this person's saying on Twitter. Like, I don't see him as the type that would do that.
I need to know what's the floor in which Grok allows this. So someone tweets at you and mentions you, and you read that tweet. Is that visiting their account?
I don't know.
Like, what's the
Like,
Maybe.
What's the bottom line of visitation that Grok allows here? Because I imagine a lot of people get tweeted at, and you just go look at your mentions, and like Damien tweets at me, and I look at that, and then I visited Damien's account. That's the way I kind of view this. I could be wrong there. I have no idea. So now we got to tweet, hey, at Grok. How do you define one person visiting another person's account?
All right, so I asked a follow-up question of who would be the second most famous person. Said
This is to the show?
Yeah, to Mac
Okay.
and Q. They said that it's Booger McFarland.
Hey, Boog's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on Get Up.
Yeah.
How many Boog got?
Let's see.
Boog is at 191,000.
191?
Not as famous as you.
Yeah.
I mean, Boog's got Super Bowl rings.
Super Bowl.
Boog's done Monday Night Football. Boog's on Get Up. I mean, how many people can say they're on Get Up other than Greg?
I don't know, like Dominique Foxworth, Kimberly Martin,
I can't say that. So
Mike Greenberg. There's a few. I mean, Greg.
But not a
Greg
ton?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
not a ton of people can say it, though.
Fame overrated.
All right, so there it is. Social media trend
Fame ain't tight.
taking the world by storm. Most famous people to visit your account.
I love that that's a trend. That's kind of a fun one, as opposed to like, let's drink Tide bleach and see what happens.
Oh,
like,
don't do that.
you know, whatever the heck other people are doing. Or
We don't condone that, by the way.
let's do, you know, I feel like some of the social media trends out there recently amongst the youngsters, pretty detrimental to your long-term health. I feel like, not 100% sure. Don't know the long-term effects and how the liver digests, you know.
We got the answer for Jox now.
Okay,
What do we got?
It's Paul Finebaum.
There you go.
I'll take that.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
This used to be a very like a very back and forth question. I think probably the overall followers would lean to Instagram now. But it used to, I remember when it used to be like, oh, it's the Kardashian or it's the president, whatever, has the most Twitter followers. Who would you guys throw out right now that you think has the most Twitter followers?
Taylor Swift.
The individual. She had it for a time.
Justin Bieber.
I think for a while it was Bieber, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Rihanna were like all in the mix. And then Cristiano Ronaldo did something by hiring a social media team, and he was like had the most followers with all combined. None of those, by the way, are your leader in the clubhouse. It's actually a very easy answer, but it's not one that it's a common sense answer, but you're not thinking about it.
Beyonce.
Nope. Use common sense
Drake.
of the platform that we're referencing.
Oh, Elon.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
by a long shot, by the way.
he's in the billions, isn't he?
222 million. And next will be Barack Obama
See?
at 130 million.
Told you.
Then Cristiano Ronaldo, 115. And then Narendra Modi.
Oh, is he the actor from India?
F1 driver would have been my guess.
No, I feel like there's a Bollywood star that's like crazy famous. I can't remember. It might be it. I don't know.
You give me your guess, Damien. Narendra Modi.
I mean, I would guess like some
How do you spell
international
it?
star, international.
He's the
actor.
prime minister of India.
The prime minister. Okay.
Is he like super active? I now want to go to his account.
Is
Is he like throwing shots at people on Twitter? Like he's the better leader than somebody else? Bieber, by the way, would be next, 108 million. Then Trump, at real Donald Trump. He doesn't use it.
Right. Yeah, he's the president one.
Then Rihanna, then Katy Perry, then Taylor Swift. So she would be 9. Coming in at 10, don't think anyone would have gotten this one. NASA.
Okay.
NASA?
They do post some cool pictures.
Good
Yeah.
content.
YouTube would be next after Lady Gaga, then Kim Kardashian, then Ellen DeGeneres, and then actually the Twitter account at X. Then
X on X.
Correct. Then Bill Gates, then Selena Gomez, then Virat Kohli.
Virat
We'll just say F1 driver. We'll just go with it.
Kohli.
I'll say soccer player.
Cricketer.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Indian national cricket team.
That's good.
65 million followers. So he's the best cricketer in the world?
Has to be.
I would think so.
He's handsome. He's got some like
Oh, boy, here
he's
we go.
got some like Cristiano Ronaldo vibes, like as an athlete. Like he's a handsome guy. Like I could see it.
Next would be Neymar, then CNN Breaking News, then CNN, then Justin Timberlake, then PMO India, which is the official office of the Prime Minister. By the way, India is crushing it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Got a lot of bodies too. Like they
New York Times next, ESPN next, Britney Spears next. Ooh.
Britney Spears.
Pretty Spears.
Still.
She's been putting some things out there
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Kind of up the ante a little bit. King James next, Champions League, Demi Lovato, and then Real Madrid. And then I think we're wasting our time going any further. Actually, here's your guy, Greg. I think at number 35, Amitabh
Bachman.
Bachchan.
Yeah. That's
Actor.
Bollywood star. Yep.
What is Bollywood?
Bollywood is Hollywood in India.
It's a show?
No.
No,
It's
no,
like
it's-
that's where they make their movies. It's like Hollywood, but it's in India.
Got it. What's he been in?
Let me tell you.
Hadn't seen the tape?
I mean, you name it. He's so many good movies.
Okay, cheers.
No, I don't think
not
so.
in
You said you name it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Dude, perfect.
Based on some of these pictures, he looks like he was part of like a James Bond. Type
Actually,
of
that photograph
character.
looks like he's an anchor man.
It does. Well, it's in 1984. Yeah.
Okay.
His most recent movie was Pink, where he played Deepak Segal.
It'd been awesome if that was like a Pink biography and he was in that movie as like her boyfriend or something.
Talisman, Vedayan.
Mm-hmm. That one. What sports league do you guys think has the most followers on Twitter?
English Premier.
No. Well, team, yes.
But league?
Correct. Let's just say in our, because it's Champions League, but of our sports here in America,
NBA.
I was gonna say NFL.
it's NBA by a long shot.
Yeah.
47 million. But I do remember NBA was the first league to start putting highlights out on Twitter, and I think that gained a pretty big advantage there.
Well, I think part of it had to do with like NBA on social media performs extremely well.
Yeah, because who's the best highlight league? Honestly. Like, if you had to rank the leagues by highlights, it's NFL or NBA, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the NBA has a lot more games, so they get a lot more highlights, and they have a lot more wow factor with their highlights. Baseball, I think, would probably be last.
Yeah. I mean, baseball is just home runs. Home run, home run, home run, home run. Board.
Hockey, the highlights are even hard to distinguish
The
sometimes.
highlights are insane.
But
Hockey highlights are crazy.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard to even see if the puck went in or not. So
Yeah,
that's not going to perform super great on social.
No. I mean, I would think like soccer where they, have a free kick from the midfield line, he makes it. Like that's probably going to do pretty well. I feel like I've seen a lot of Cristiano Ronaldo highlights and a lot of Messi highlights online that are insane. I never played soccer, so I don't know how good they are, but I'm based on.
But think about it in general. You're getting what? Like on average, 2.1 goals a game combined?
Yeah.
So
I mean, not as many.
They're far. Yeah, there's not as many of them out there.
If Steph Curry sneezes on the sideline, it's a viral moment. It's like.
Honestly, the NBA probably does well with like warm-up highlights. Like Steph Curry's warm-ups do well, I'm sure, on social.
Yeah,
when he does like the last shot, go walking into the locker room.
Shooting it from the locker room. Yeah. Pretty sweet. I mean,
no doubt.
I'll be the first to admit, I'm a bit of a. When I was back in my social media days, I'd log some hours on some NBA highlights. My favorite ones are like from 1991 and Bill Lambier is like elbowing someone in the face as they're going up for a
90s
layup.
NBA highlights was just the best overall.
Oh my gosh.
Shaq pulling backboards down, Bill Lambier and Larry Bird fighting people, like Jordan dunks. Yeah, there's Dominique dunks. There's a lot that were just awesome.
Yes.
At that point in time.
Correct.
So, all right, before we get to break, tell our listeners about Shannara Flooring.
Well, Shannara Flooring's done such a great job. Fu and his company has been built on a foundation of trust and integrity. They'll take great care of you. They also have 40,000 square feet of Core-Tec flooring by Shaw in stock right now, and you can get $10 off per box when you order it from Shannara Flooring. Remember, this is that 100% waterproof, pet-proof, durable flooring, and you can save a ton of money if you order it right now from Fu and his guys at Shannara Flooring. So take advantage of those savings. You get 12 months financing with approved credit. You can see it all online by going to fooandyou.com.
All right, we'll get back into our conversation on sort of middle-of-the-pack teams in the SEC, that formula to maybe separate who has it, who doesn't, next on Jox 94.5. If only some of the mid-break conversations could make it to air. Would be a lot more fun. It's always fun when you head down to Royal Automotive. They've been helping our friends and neighbors experience how car buying should be right now. 0% still available at Royal. 4 dealerships, 1 location, unmatched selection and savings. Royal Buick GMC, Royal Volkswagen, Royal Automart, Volvo Cars of Vestavia Hills, all at the corner of I-65 Highway 31 of Vestavia. From sales to service, the team at Royal can help you find that new ride to keep you rolling when it's time to start searching for your next vehicle. All 4 stores in 1 location means you can get behind the wheel for a test drive without driving all over town. When they say for every ride, there's Royal, they mean it. If you're shopping for that very first ride or your dream ride, go see my friends at Royal. Royal Buick GMC, Royal Volkswagen, Royal Automart, Volvo Cars of Vestavia Hills, all at the corner of I-65 and Highway 31 of Vestavia. Online at royalautomotive.net. Remember, for every ride, there's Royal. All right, so bouncing back into our conversation on sort of middle-of-the-pack SEC teams. First, I'll get to a couple of people on social media that were responding in here to the show. People were giving their examples of most popular people most famous people that have visited their accounts. Mikey tweets in, his was James Spann. Jolly tweets in, Mac and Cube, social media is now like a racing team or something like Red Bull Sports. You have TikTok, Instagram, X, FB Famous, and each one has its kind of following. How many Instagram influencers post their TikTok numbers in the bio? It's like a Dion Bo crossover. I get what he's saying, though. Like, there are some people that you see on Instagram that have 150,000 followers, and you go to their Twitter, and it's like 1,900 followers. You're like, what? How can, what? Isn't there just like some accidental carryover?
One would assume.
Jamie Bailey tweets in, Grok said Cornelius Bennett for me. Which, if you're an Alabama fan, that's not a bad one at all. Jeremy Raines tweets in, basketball now of an international sport too, so the reach much bigger like soccer. Very good point.
No question.
So you could have one highlight that makes it to Asia, and that thing's mega viral immediately. So a very fair point there. All right. Always good to get the feedback from the folks on the social medias. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw where in some random sports guys college football analysts poll bracket, I'm up against the 1 seed RG3 today.
The 1 seed?
1 seed.
Yeah. I'm a 16, by the way.
And he's a 1.
Yeah. Voting for myself, too. Don't care.
Heck yeah. How can we go
absolutely.
vote? Tell me where to go vote for that.
Please.
This man's name is how do you even pronounce this? Caleb Jeanneret. That would be at JEANNERET _ Caleb. Caleb Jeanneret. He is an NFL and college football enthusiast that tweets too much. Located in Topeka, Kansas.
I can't find him.
At GEANNERET _ Caleb. CALEB.
All right, let's go vote.
I'm doing it again because I need to vote.
I got it.
Can't get beat by RG3 here. What do we do?
Let's vote.
Come on.
Okay, here we go. Let's vote. Where are you?
Should be right there.
So you already won the first round?
Who did I take down?
I don't know who that is. But probably somebody awesome.
Oh, no, that's dude from, yeah, that guy. I think he's on cover 3. What's his name? Not Cannell or Bud Elliott. The other
I
one.
can't tell. It's his face is covered in red, so it's hard to tell.
He's eliminated. That's why.
Wow.
Who? I'm up against Urban Meyer.
When? Today?
Who? Yeah, I don't know.
And you were a 14 seed.
That's
Who did this seeding? That's the question.
Clat's 11.
Who are the ones in this guy's top college football personalities bracket? RG3's a 1 seed. Oh, he only has 1 seed. Sorry.
Yeah, so he's straight seeding.
This is a straight seed.
Yeah.
Herbie 2. Where's our 3? Do you skip 3?
Urban Meyer's 3.
As a personality?
He has a play-in.
And Paul's a 4.
Paul has a personality, though.
But he's a 4 seed in this.
Like, Urban could talk ball, but personality?
I didn't make the
Paul the 4. Who's in at the 5? Mark Ingram. So this guy's a Fox guy.
Gotta
Definitely
be.
a Fox guy.
Gotta
Okay,
be.
got it.
Has to be.
Notice.
Pollock 6. Desmond Howard 7.
Maybe not a Fox guy.
What's the guy from Barstool?
That's Brandon Walker at
Brandon
8.
Walker.
Brandon
yeah.
Walker. Yeah. I know that guy. I don't know who's
Wow.
bottom left.
Cannell at 9, out.
Aaron Murray was 10.
Klatt, 11. 12 would be Casey Smith. 13,
Pate.
Josh Pate.
Pate.
Josh Pate.
Pate.
Got it.
Pate.
Got it. 14,
G-Mac.
Craig McElroy. I mean, he's the most famous person visiting Damien's account. He's got him a 14
The
seed.
14 seed.
Staples the 15. I'm the 16. I guess 16 not as bad now.
Right.
By the way.
Yeah, looking
Yeah,
at
you got to feel good about it.
Not quite as bad. The guy beats the 17. Not why his name's not ringing a bell. Liner at 18. Bud Elliott 19 gone. McElroy took him down.
I cover the sport. I'm not gonna lie. There are some people on here I don't know.
T-Bob 20 out. Pate took him down.
Who's 12?
12
Bottom
is
left. Beat Lang in the first round.
that's Casey Smith.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alyssa Lang was 21. Casey Smith knocked her out. 22 is Ari Wasserman. 23, JD.
Piquel? Piquel, right?
24. Is that Penn State guy? Brendan something?
I
24.
think so. His face looks familiar.
I don't know.
Yeah, he does the podcast. He does really good interviews on
That's
this podcast.
Jared Goff.
Kind of looks like
It does favor. Adam Brenneman. Is that Adam Brenneman?
I think so.
Wow,
See, like, I'll get
we
in
are
trouble
terrible.
because like I don't know some of these people.
It's
It's not because, and I watch as much as anybody.
nobody
else.
knows everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know what to do.
It's fine. But we do need to knock RG3 out here.
Yeah, you got it.
Brandon Walker will tweet about that incessantly if I'm up against him. And I won't beat the Barstool crowd. I'll just tell you that right now. They will knock me
Yeah, that ain't
way
happening.
the hell out of there.
That ain't happening. But it's going to be a good run. You're going to give it all you got. I can promise you that.
All right, we'll see what happens. Got to get that one done.
How do we vote?
Go to work, Mac and Cube fans.
I just voted.
Can we tweet that from the show account?
Well, right
So
now,
give us your
right
votes.
now there's
I got
9 votes. Right now there's 9 votes.
Is it? Are we shutting them out?
And yeah, you are up 9-0.
Let's go.
I'm here for it.
Because if you don't win the Caleb Jean college football personality poll, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I think you might as well just quit.
If I don't win, I might. I might. All right. We were going to talk more about sort of middle of the pack SEC teams and who has that formula to be able to move on. Since we got distracted there by social media, when we come back, we will finish that conversation and give you an update on Caleb Jean-Ray's college football personality poll right after Greg tells you about Bromberg's.
Bromberg's the best. Been going there forever. We always appreciate the experience I have when I walk in the door at Bromberg's. Deal with their sales staff. They're just the very best. They can point you in the right direction. They can help you out. Make sure that you're purchasing something that will be beneficial for you down the road. Always very grateful to the experience that I have when I walk in the door there. It's an elevated experience. You're going to get things that are going to last multiple generations in many cases, whether it's gold, silver, platinum, you name it, they got it. They also have the natural diamonds that are beautiful and one of a kind. So go and check out Bromberg's in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit. You can also check them out online at brombergs.com.
All right, when we come back, past Missouri, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, what teams in the middle of the pack have the recipe to sort of separate, maybe be in contention for a conference title? Well, we're up to 23 votes.
On yours?
Unfortunately, we gave RG3 13% of the vote when we asked people to go vote. That may have been a bad idea to get our listeners to go vote on here. It's like, forget that guy.
Oh, RG is he's still doing college football. He just got back. He's at Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had forgotten that.
But we pushed people to the poll and RG3 got votes. So maybe a bad idea. We did that. Oh, I'll show that Barner. Oh, now he's up to 18% of the vote.
Oh, boy.
Great job.
It's getting a little out
Jox
of hand.
listeners. Thanks, guys.
It's getting a little out of hand.
I'll show him.
We retract those statements. All right, back with more next. All right, let's get back to talking middle of the pack SEC teams. 89% of the vote right now, by the way, 47 votes.
How many votes?
60 votes in. 88% of the vote.
You're gold.
Keep it going, Jox family. Except for you, the ones that you went and voted for RG3. Garrett Anderson tweets in. You're probably not going to get this reference, Greg. It made the rounds on social. Garrett Anderson tweets in at Mac and Cube. Shaq never made a video saying he was going to punch at Cole Cubelic in the face. Hashtag vote Cole. Shaq and our boys. RG3 never rapped with Shaq on the sideline.
No, never.
Hey, I'll take Shaq in my corner. It's pretty good dude to have in your corner there.
Heck yeah.
We're all right with that one. We are all good with that one. Back to more middle of the pack teams in the SEC. We kind of went through Missouri. And this is what we decided early in the show, that if you're going to separate, because the difference between 5 and 11 look like it might be nothing in the SEC this year. You got to have some takeover guys, and you got to have a schedule that's going to allow for this to take place. So we did kind of mention South Carolina in the takeover guy department, Greg.
Yes.
But we didn't really mention them from a schedule perspective. Now, I don't think we've ever said South Carolina has a lighter schedule. It's usually arguably the most difficult in the league. Not quite as bad this year, but the scary part is October, where, they have a manageable September. Virginia Tech, not going to be an easy game. Kyron Drone's back. You got a new D coordinator. South Carolina State, Vandy, at Mizzou, Kentucky. I could see them 5-0 right there. Very, very feasible. At Mizzou, going to be an interesting game for both those teams. You take a week off, then you go to LSU. Then you get Oklahoma at home, Alabama at home, then you're at Ole Miss. Now, we might look at the matchup and say, well, I like South Carolina against Ole Miss, but you also have to take into consideration that's after LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, back-to-back-to-back. Then you get a week off, and you're at A&M for, the Governor's Trophy? And then Coastal Carolina, then Clemson. So not a simple November, but maybe a little bit lighter than at other points in time. The interesting part, Greg, is going to be come November, which one of these teams we're talking about is healthiest and which one's most beat up.
Yeah.
Because those are going to be very different games than they were maybe in September.
There's no question. And it's crazy how much that notion can be applied pretty much everywhere now.
Yeah.
It's kind of honestly insane how significant health has become part of the equation from projecting some of these teams.
So when we look at that schedule, we know Dylan Stewart, we know Lenora Sellers. Does that give you more confidence that South Carolina can be this team, or maybe less confidence that South Carolina can be this team?
I feel confident that South Carolina is going to be really good on offense. I have some doubts about their defense being as good as a year ago, which is okay because last year's defense was such a lockdown group that they don't have to be quite that good. But if they can just kind of be a little like Ole Miss was number 1 last year. If they can slip to 25, I think they can overcome that with what their offense might do. But can South Carolina slip from, 8 to 28? Is that feasible? Like, do you think that's possible? Are you okay with a drop of, say, 20 spots in the overall rankings, and can they overcome that?
I think they can. Like we talked about with Shane doing more with less in the portal, I think a lot of that's going to depend on some of the newcomers, and like a Sean Murphy, how good is he at linebacker? I hadn't seen a ton of him. We know he's got the ability. And then some of the receivers we mentioned, they're going to need some young receivers to step up. They just are. They're going to have some freshman receivers play meaningful snaps and some younger receivers really step up. Tight end's a position of concern. So that offensive line at times looked pretty good last year, but also
they're going to be good on the offensive line.
I think they'll be okay. They actually have some depth, which a lot of teams don't have.
Yeah.
That could end up helping a lot. And as we've gone through the league, how many teams have D lines that are just going to crush you?
I'm trying to think. Florida.
They play Vanderbilt. That they're not that kind of group. Missouri,
No.
I think, is going to be solid, but not just overwhelm you. Kentucky's group's not going to overwhelm you.
No.
I don't even think LSU's D line is going to overwhelm you. You're going to have to be able to deal with movement, and
I think LSU's defensive line is going to be decent.
Yeah. Now Oklahoma, your line better be ready for that game.
Yeah, handful.
Be ready for that game. Alabama, a lot, but not something you just can't manage, no matter what. Ole Miss ain't going to have that group. A&M could. Clemson will. So you look 2, maybe 4 teams on the schedule that could potentially just overwhelm your O-line if they're not great. So, okay, that's manageable from that perspective if the O-line's not dominant. So I like their chances to be the team that we're talking about. I really do. I think that it's feasible, it's possible that they could be that team. One that I think Greg is going to like, we're going to get into next. We've talked a little bit about their personnel, haven't looked at their schedule and how it might play out. We'll do that when we come back right here on Jox. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 8:47, Monday, July 28th, right here on Jox. Listen online, joxfm.com. Also can watch live on YouTube every day. Just search Jox945. A team that I think Greg is going to like in this scenario of teams in the middle of the pack that could potentially be towards the front at the end. There are multiple factors that are going to play into that. Our sort of baseline factors that we decided early in the show, take over players and schedule. And let's take a dive into Texas A&M, Greg, see where they fall in this mix, because the schedule is going to have some really tough moments, and the takeover players, we might know exactly who they are. Now, Casey Concepcion could be that guy, and he can do it in different ways. Down the field, intermediate passes, short, high percentage throws, handing the ball. He can do it in a lot of ways. A couple of running backs at times could be that guy, and honestly, you could maybe give it to a group. That O-line might be that guy at times, where they're just pushing people around and they're able to run the football and kind of control the game that way. But when you look at the schedule, along with potential takeover players, UTSA, Utah State, and then at Notre Dame week 3, which I think is a really intriguing matchup because both these offensive lines might be ripping by week 3. Both of them may be able to play some smash mouth football. Jagisaw might be back for Notre Dame by then, and that could be a group with Jeremiah Love that they're pounding. However, A&M might have a good pass rush, and you still having a younger quarterback. Now, Notre Dame lost a lot up front and in the secondary. We know Xavier Watt's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Benjamin Morrison going to be gone. But we like some of the guys coming back on that Notre Dame D-line.
Yes.
And Byron Young is the guy that you point to that said, if there is someone who may end up being the takeover guy for Notre Dame, like he can be that guy. He's the one you need to watch as far as
he's just so long.
Just freak show athletically. And if there are some issues protecting at tackle for A&M, he could be a real problem. So it's kind of an interesting matchup both ways because I think they're going to be very similar teams when they face in week 3.
I don't disagree. The other guy I'd watch for Notre Dame is Bubakar Traore. He was hurt week 1 last year, and he is a handful and was last year too. But on A&M side, I think A&M is the team that is probably being slept on the most, I would say. Like, I think most people are kind of on board with the big jump from Auburn. I think people are on board with the big jump from LSU. I think people are on board with the decent-sized jump from Oklahoma. Those 3 teams, I don't feel like when I talk to folks, it requires much convincing. With A&M, I feel like I'm having to kind of convince folks, like, hey, dude, I'm just telling you, watch out for the Aggies this year. And I know it's same thing, rinse and repeat. They're always 8-4, what have you. But on their best day, they can knock anybody off. All right, we know that all too well around here. I think the big key is their front. I think Cassius Howell, if he's that guy, he can be that guy. I think even if you want to go down the depth chart a little bit, Deion Hayes, transfer from Colorado, but prior to that, he was at Pitt, and when he was at Pitt, man, he was disruptive. He was a problem. And at Colorado, he did some nice things, but I think within this group, surrounded by this personnel around him, he's got a chance to maybe get some one-on-ones and create some problems for some folks. So I think A&M has more take over the game guys than most teams in the SEC. Like, I think Casey Concepcion can be that guy. I think Terry Bussey might be that guy.
Good chance.
I think Le'Veon Moss at running back is that kind of guy.
He or Reuben Owens, both.
Or Reuben Owens, assuming Reuben Owens is back at 100% to what he was prior to the injury last year. I mean, they have some dudes that can cause a lot of problems for some folks, and they don't have necessarily the star-studdedness of a Texas, but I think A&M is not that far behind when it comes to top-level guys that could get drafted really high at some point when they've entered the name in the draft.
You also look at TJ Searcy, who I think has the makeup to be a big-time player from Florida that's going to be on that A&M D-line this year as well.
Why did he leave? Like, what's the deal there? I mean, is it finances? I mean, I get it. I don't. If it is, then so be it. But
I think that's a smaller part of it. I think there was a little bit more of expectation versus production, sort of. But yeah, he's got that ability to be that guy. I think Cassius Howell, the only one that we've mentioned that truly could fit the bill that we're talking about, to just be somebody that you look at and say we can't do anything with this guy.
Yeah.
Because DJ Hicks has played a lot, and Albert Regis has played a lot, but I don't think those
are lockdown guys. They're not.
Yeah, they're not wrecking your game.
No.
So
if they play Dan Hayes inside a little bit, I think they probably will. Like, he can be. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but like in an obvious rushing situation, they would use him at Pitt. Sometimes it's like that 3 techniques, probably 270. He can be a little bit of an issue on the inside. Now, I wouldn't want him inside against the run. But he has had some good years. I mean, 2 years ago, he had 10.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. And that was kind of in situational, Pat Narduzzi defense where they're not really allowing their guys to free up and do a bunch of different things.
All right, so let's look at the rest of that schedule after Notre Dame. Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home, Florida at home.
Massive game that no one's talking about.
Well, specifically because if A&M gets by Notre Dame, you get a week off for Auburn, you got a good chance to be 5-0 playing Florida at home.
Yeah.
Then you play Arkansas on the road. That's at Razorback Stadium this year, right?
Yes.
So a little bit different. Then you got LSU on the road. Week off, Missouri on the road. So 3 consecutive games, but 3 and 4 weeks that they're going to be away from Kyle Field. Then South Carolina, Stanford at home, and Texas on the road. The schedule is a little bit of a roller coaster Now, the Notre Dame Auburn stretch tough, but you get a week off. Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina stretch tough, but there is a bye week in between there. And we kind of don't know if Arkansas is going to be a real handful. That's one of those games that feels like it's always closer than it should be.
Well, the Arkansas A&M game is always weird.
Yeah, no matter who's the better team.
It always feels like Arkansas is going to win it, and then A&M somehow finds a way to win at the end of the game. It's like rinse and repeat every year. It's the exact same. It's always competitive. I think there's been one example of that game getting sideways in the last 10, 12 years. Seriously.
And A&M may have the perfect recipe against LSU. Because if the D-line is not ripping, but they cause problems by movement, I mean, A&M's going to have some zone stuff with a good offensive line that should be able to handle all the craziness that LSU's defense is going to give you.
Yeah.
And then if the LSU weakness is secondary, which it's all new people, we don't really know, A&M should have the receivers and should be able to buy you a little bit of time to be able to take advantage of that. So, but that's on October 25th. That's a ways down the road. We don't really know how a lot of it's going to look. So I think they have more schedule and potential takeover guys, but just not guys that we can go ahead and label that right now. So I would say possibly good chance they can be that team, but maybe not as good a chance as a couple others that we're going to talk about. How would you sort of project it for A&M?
I think A&M is one of those teams that can make the playoff or go 6-6.
Which is kind of where all these teams are we're talking about. I mean, it's
a little dependent on quarterback advancement. I just think the system's going to be too quarterback friendly for Marcel Reed not to have a solid year. I don't think he wins the Heisman. I think he's going to be rock solid, though. I also think that if he gets hurt, like Jacob Zeno, I don't think things are going to be great for A&M if Zeno has to go in there and be the guy.
We haven't mentioned Florida yet. We'll do that next hour. We haven't mentioned much of Auburn when it comes to this conversation. I haven't mentioned Tennessee when it comes to this specific conversation and how they could fare. I don't know if Arkansas is even going to be in the mix for this conversation. So, but we'll get to a couple others and talk about where they might be, how they could fare. We mentioned it with Paul Finebaum, the possibility of North Carolina to the SEC. Who started this conversation? What are the interests on both sides? David Hale of ESPN joins us next to discuss on Jox. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Monday, July 28th, 9 a.m. on Jox. Keep your eyes on a press conference coming out of Colorado today. Coach Prime set to have a press conference there in Boulder along with his medical staff. Just something to sort of keep the pulse on, see what comes out of that. Don't think we'll have information from it in the next hour on our show today, but Three-Man Front will give you updates on it, and we'll discuss it tomorrow, depending on how big the news is that actually comes out. There was some big news made last week from inside Carolina saying that UNC was looking to make its way to the Southeastern Conference. We wanted to get some thoughts on the reality there. And David Hale covers the ACC for ESPN. He joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline to discuss. David, what did you think, sir, first off, when you saw the headlines that – because I did think it was interesting, the headline stating that Carolina was sort of looking to make their way to the SEC. Not that there was mutual interest, not that the SEC was trying to go get them, but they were investigating ways to make this happen. What were your thoughts when you saw it?
My first thought was like, great, get in line. They're certainly probably not the only ones that would like to maneuver their way in that direction. That's a lot of what the last 2 years in the ACC has been about, with the various lawsuits and complaints and reorganization of revenue distribution and all of that stuff. Carolina has sort of been lurking in the weeds, and I think wisely so. They let Florida State and Clemson be the canaries in the coal mine that got the grant of rights reduced and dealt with all of the legal and PR backlash from that. But this was always going to benefit Carolina probably more than anyone, because from football, basketball, geography, brand identity, all of this stuff, basically everything other than football wins, makes Carolina an extraordinarily attractive option when expansion happens again, if it happens again in any way that looks like past realignment expansions within the SEC or the Big Ten. Now, I've talked to folks at Carolina who I think there's sort of a little bit of a dichotomy, or at least there had been, of I think fans would love to see Carolina in the SEC. I think administrators largely look at it and say, we're probably a better fit for the Big Ten. But there's also a new sort of AD there. Bubba Cunningham has announced he will be retiring in the next about year and a half or so. And they brought in Steve Newmark, who used to work with NASCAR. And I think there's probably a little bit of like, hey, I'm putting my imprint on all of this conversation as well. But, the big takeaway, sort of the long story short to this, to me, is we all know that there is a ticking clock. I'm not exactly sure what it's counting down to. Is it 2029, 2030, 2031? But that clock is ticking towards something that is going to come as the next round of TV deals comes up. And Carolina, I think all along, and absolutely now with the new AD coming in, is looking to position itself to be in the best place to either join the Big Ten, the SEC, a Super League, whatever that may be. They'll have options.
When you look at kind of why you think Big Ten over SEC, what is it that kind of leads you down that path, David?
Well, two things. One is just the football history at Carolina is not great. We've talked about them as a, quote, sleeping giant for a long time. I don't know what kind of sleeping pills that giant has been taking, because it is, you can poke and prod all you want and he doesn't get up. That's sort of part of the problem. You don't want to go to the SEC and get your doors blown off and lose an entire generation basically of football fans because you have become the, I don't even want to say the Vanderbilt of the SEC. I think it's probably Carolina most years would be lucky to go 7-6 with an SEC schedule. But the other thing of it is you kind of have to understand where the money at UNC comes from, and their donor base and their biggest boosters are, they get labeled the wine and cheese crowd. I don't know how entirely fair all of that is, but these are sort of more, I don't know, classical football fans, right? They still view very much like the prestige, the academics, the they think they're above a lot of people. I'll put it that way. I remember Mac Brown complaining about how hard it was to get NIL donations because there was a large percentage of the boosters who just thought, hey, why would I give my money to these athletes to go get tattoos and sneakers? It's like that kind of crowd. And so where does that fit better? I don't think it is the football-obsessed Southeastern Conference. It is the Big Ten, where they fair or unfairly compare themselves to everybody else and say, look, we have higher academic standards. We have more broad-based athletics opportunities. Like, all of those things philosophically probably fit better with who Carolina thinks it is. But at the end of the day, there is a certain level of prestige football-wise that comes with playing in the SEC, and I think that's what Carolina fans would like to see.
David Hale joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, covers the ACC. Where do you think the actual exploratory discussion is with Carolina right now? Is this just wanting to make some headlines so you float something out there that people know that you would leave if it was a possibility? Is there really some serious research being done? Is this all hogwash? Like, where's the actual effort level right now for Carolina potentially wanting to be, efforting to be, trying to be in a different conference?
I think the timing is a little bit about the new AD coming in. And if you think back to last spring, there was a bit of a hubbub around Chapel Hill because several members of the Board of Trustees, who are their own unique circus there, called out AD Bubba Cunningham for not suing the ACC to try and get out of the league. I think Bubba, quite rightly, was of the opinion that why would I sue when Clemson and Florida State are doing the work for me and saving us a lot of money and headaches. And he was proven right by that because he's in a much better position. UNC is much better positioned to leave as a result of that. But you've got a new AD coming in who knows that there is a clamoring within some halls of power around Chapel Hill to put the ACC on notice, I guess, for that lack of, or to tell your own fan base and your donor base that, yes, we are doing things. So I think the timing of this is a little bit of bluster. But there's absolutely work being done behind the scenes in terms of just getting the program ready. I think that's part of the reason Bill Belichick's there, is that we need to change the football identity of this program to be best positioned to move into another league when that opportunity comes. Like, again, I think everybody in the ACC understands what the runway is now. And that doesn't mean we're going to hit 2030 and things are absolutely going to blow up. There are lots of ways this can change. But clearly there is a deadline on the horizon that somebody's going to make a move. And so UNC, I think, wisely is among those schools. I mean, it's UNC, Miami, Florida State, Clemson, maybe Virginia, that really have an opportunity to shape whatever the next phase of this looks like. And they're absolutely doing their due diligence to make sure that they're positioned to do that when the time comes.
What do you think the time frame is? Because everyone seems to think 2 to 3 years has been kind of the common theme, but it's also been for the last 2 or 3 years. That's when everything was supposed to happen. And now it's like, well, 2 or 3 years from now. Some people say 5, some people speculate 11. So, I mean, there's no telling. So what do you think the timeline would be for a decision like this to be made?
Yeah, so, the number that I always hear is sort of the over-under is 2030. And it's you don't need to be a rocket scientist. Look at when the TV contracts are coming up. But I think there's two other things to sort of note with that. One is it isn't TV contracts come up and then everybody moves. Like, look at Texas and Oklahoma. That was 3 years ahead of time. So you're going to see things start to bubble up. Whether it's something definitive or just stories like this are going to really start to reach a crescendo, probably starting in 27 or 28. But the other thing of it is like, I think anyone who tells you that they know exactly what 2031 is going to look like, 2032 is going to look like, is fooling themselves. Because yes, we may have 2 super leagues. Yes, those super leagues may be the SEC and Big Ten, or maybe we have something completely different. I mean, look, the federal government is more interested in college sports than it has ever been. There are all kinds of other lines of demarcation between haves and have-nots in college sports right now. The landscape has shifted dramatically. And, when Clemson and Florida State were suing the ACC to reduce their grant of rights and having these conversations, one of the that I kept coming back to and talking to administrators at both schools was, how much is a reasonable amount of money to pay when you don't know exactly what the future is going to be? So what if, you spend $150 million to get out of the ACC, and you go join the SEC, and then all of it blows up anyway, and you didn't need to pay all of that if you had just waited another year. So I think there's a little bit of, we don't know what the future is, not just for the ACC, but for all of college sports right now. And I think that will increasingly come into focus over the next 2 years too. So I look at probably 27 or 28 as the window in which it won't be the finish line, but it is when we will start to get some clarity on what the next phase of college sports looks like.
David, we were talking a little bit earlier in the show about just some of these massive matchups coming up week one, and I think everybody would be on board saying Clemson will not only contend for the ACC, but a national championship berth in the college football playoff. I think there are a couple of other easy candidates for us to look at and say, yeah, that could be a pretty good football team. Just the collection of talent at Miami, I think, is going to allow a lot of people to say that. Are there some other sort of diamonds in the rough, though, that you look at in the ACC and say, not really? I mean, I think Georgia Tech can be dangerous. I think Louisville's going to be really good.
Yeah.
But is there a team that's just not getting the buzz that deserves a lot more, that you think could be more than even just a little bit scary this year, could compete for a conference title, maybe a little bit of a run in the playoff?
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned Georgia Tech. They have a pretty high-profile opener against Colorado, a game I think they should, and really for the ACC's purposes, need to win. But that's a team that has really been building towards something. And the final records don't always look like it. I mean, they're 7-6, 7-6 the last couple of years. That's not going to knock anybody over. But they've got 6 wins under Brent Key since he took over in midway through 22. 6 wins against ranked opponents, and that doesn't include the 8 overtime loss to Georgia. That's as many as Clemson has in that span. They've shown that they can hang with anybody. It's been about the consistency. Well, I think they're really getting their offensive line is going to be really good. Haynes King literally played the last half of last season unable to throw a football. Like, he could not throw a forward pass. So they were limited in a lot of ways just because of injuries. But I think you're seeing a team that is sort of really gathering steam now. Now, look, I've been around the ACC long enough to know that all it takes is week one for the steam to be let out and all the pressure removed. So don't hold me to any of this. But I think Georgia Tech has a chance, again, make a statement in week one in a high-profile game. You wins from there, and some of that momentum builds up, and the excitement builds up, and enthusiasm builds up, and then you get Georgia at the end of the year. I think Georgia Tech has a chance to be somebody. I like Louisville a lot, too. I like Miami. I think they're probably not quite as good as they were offensively last year, but should be better defensively. I feel like we're sleeping on SMU a little bit. I mean, this team made the playoff last year. They returned Kevin Jennings and a ton of other guys that made an impact. Rhett Lashley's done a tremendous job, not just of the on-field coaching and the managing of the roster and all of that, but just in program building there through what could be a really problematic time. I mean, go back and look at like all the other teams that have moved up a level from Group of 5 to Power 5, Power 4 over the last decade plus. It doesn't go well. None of them have made real inroads the first year that they've been in a new conference. None of them have finished above 500 in conference play. SMU went to the playoff. So I think, I don't know. I'm still a little reluctant to say they're better than they were last year. There's some things I want to see, but I do think we're sleeping on them a tad.
They're definitely flying under the radar. I don't feel like anyone's getting the credit. They're not really getting the credit. I also think their schedule's much tougher this year. The other team that I think has a real chance is Louisville, but their schedule's a beast. Meanwhile, you look at some teams with their schedule, like North Carolina, for example. I know we talked about them earlier in the context of where they could be playing their football 5 years from now, but their schedule is ridiculously manageable. Is there a legitimate chance that this team makes a run this year when you take into account where they're at?
The beauty of this year's Carolina team is you could script almost any storyline, and I'd say, yeah, maybe. Bill Belichick comes to ACC kickoff last week and doesn't want to talk about his personal life and says he doesn't know anything about the team. I don't know what we're supposed to ask him about. But to his point, they've got 30 guys who have joined this roster since the end of spring, including the guy who's likely to be their starting quarterback, Gio Lopez, who transferred from South Alabama. Like, there's not a lot of known quantities about UNC right now. Yes, it's a manageable schedule if UNC is above average. If UNC is a little on the below average side, that same schedule a lot of those toss-up games maybe go against them. I think there is a non-zero chance that this is a 10-win team. I also think there's a non-zero chance it's a 4-win team. Like, that's sort of the weird thing about this Carolina team because there's so little we know about it. Now, I will tell you the other team that sort of jumps out at me, and I guess I say this with some hesitation because it's been so long since they were good, but the team that we know more about that has been building towards something and also has probably an even easier schedule than Carolina is Virginia. Now, again, I preface all of this by saying Virginia has been getting their doors blown off against Virginia Tech, even as the Hokies have been terrible. But Virginia has been slowly building under Tony Elliott. They've got a really good veteran quarterback in Chandler Morris who came in. I think they went into the portal and had some resources to invest in the portal this year more than they have at any point previously. And that schedule is an absolute cakewalk for a decent team. So could Virginia get into that mix? I think it's possible.
There you go. David Hale, great stuff, man. Thanks for hopping on with us, talking some North Carolina, talking some ACC football. We'll have you back soon.
Awesome. Good to talk to you guys.
Yes, sir. David Hale of ESPN covers the ACC, giving a little bit of clarity on that North Carolina, I guess, search, investigation, inquiry to try to get into the SEC that some people are putting out there. But we trust David and what he says. And, yeah, who wouldn't want to get to the SEC? I mean, I think every team is probably open to it.
100%.
Maybe not every team.
Well, Ohio State, Michigan,
probably good.
Those that are firmly established in the Big Ten, I think they're perfectly content where they're at. Don't blame them at all. But I think if you're in the ACC and your future is legitimately in question, 10 years from now, whenever that day may come, like I think aligning with stability is a real positive. And keep your options open too. I mean, like you don't need to necessarily jump and go and do it. Like just keep your options open. I don't think that's a bad thing for just making sure that you're aware of the landscape around you.
Absolutely. If you're looking for new landscape for your home, Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group can help. Call 205-542-1996 today. See what they can do for you. They've only helped more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. Most of those agents, they start marketing after you list with them, not Gusty. He's been doing that for a while. All the latest technology, Facebook, Instagram, it's a crucial part of his real estate success. You can trust Gusty's aggressive and proven selling system. He's got what it takes to attract hundreds of qualified buyers who are going to want your home. I can speak from experience as he's helped members of my family. He can help you as well. Just Google Gusty Goulas Group. You'll see over 855-star Google reviews. Or go to GustyGoulsGroup.com today. Better yet, call 205-542-1996 today and start packing. All right, we'll come back, roll back into that conversation on some middle-of-the-pack teams potentially finding a way to be towards the top of the pack in the SEC this season. That's next on Jox. college football teams beginning practice today. Samford wrapping up their first practice this morning, a few minutes ago. Houston, Minnesota, Nebraska on the practice field today. Oklahoma State, UCF, Scott Frost era beginning again down in Orlando. Cincinnati going. Colorado starts today. And press conference for about noon Central with Coach Prime and his medical team. We'll be very interested, Greg, to see what comes out of that one today.
Yeah,
you were with him at Big 12 Media Days 2 weeks ago.
And we asked him about his health. We asked him about everything, and he remained steadfast. And, hey, I feel great. Don't ask me about my health. That's pretty much it. But, of course, just checking in with Coach Prime, and he seemed like he was in good spirits, energy high, all those things. So here's hoping, fingers crossed, that nothing significant comes out of today's press conference.
So that will be during three-man front. Today, you're going to want to keep it locked on that show right here on Jox to see exactly what took place. You can do that on the Jox app. You can do that joxfm.com. You can watch live on YouTube. Go back and watch our show on YouTube if you need to after the show ends. Obviously, replays, you can go catch it there. And then, obviously, anywhere around the state, you can catch us now on the Jox Network. Focusing back in on some of these SEC teams, we're going to get to those here in just a moment. First, G-Mac, tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services.
Well, they're the one-stop shop for me. I call Weston the guys for everything. Anytime anything goes wrong in my house, I begin the repair process by calling Weston. And Weston has helped me out with the HVAC system. It's so hot right now. You want to make sure that your HV system is ready to roll as the continuing brutal summer months continue on. But he's also helped me out with my plumbing. He's also helped me out with electrical. You can do so many things around your house, and you'll understand what I'm talking about the second you call Polar Bear Services and spend time with Weston and his guys. So remember, if you have a problem with electrical, plumbing, heater, air, just pick up the phone and call the Bears. 205-497-BEAR. It's 497-BEAR.
Another team that will be in the middle of the pack of the SEC that's going to be looking to separate. Can they find a way to do it based on our sort of baseline formula that we think could be massive in the deciding factors of which of those teams in the middle of the pack? As we think 5-10, 5-11 teams who finish there in the SEC could be very similar. The team that finishes 5th, the team that finishes 11th, might not be much difference. Game or two might separate those two teams.
Probably won't be much different.
I don't think there's a way it can be very different.
Unless you have injuries and the team that's probably 5th best in the league in the preseason gets totally banged up and they end up losing 3 or 4 games they shouldn't lose. I mean, I just think the gap is so narrow.
So we looked at schedule and we looked at takeover players. That may be going to be two of the massive reasons one of these teams does that. We haven't looked at Tennessee yet. And will they be able to do that? Let's start with takeover players. Offensively, doesn't really feel like they have a known commodity there just now. Now, we weren't spending a ton of time talking about Dylan Sampson this time last year. And then last time we had Austin Price on, he rolled through all the 1,000-yard backs that have performed in this offense. So could it be a Deshaun Bishop? Could it be a Star Thomas? Maybe. But we just don't know that right now. We've been hearing about Chris Brazzell forever. I thought he was going to have a big year last year.
Yeah.
Mike Matthews, a lot of people thought was going to come in and be a freshman sensation last year. You have more high-profile freshman receivers coming in this year, but we just don't know right now, Greg. If we can't just pound the podium and say this is the takeover guy for the Tennessee offense.
I don't see one. It doesn't mean that there isn't one. It just there's not the obvious one that you can point to at this moment. Like I like Kitzelman. Like I like Deshaun Bishop. I like Chris Brazzell. I like his skill set. I haven't really necessarily seen the production just yet.
Yeah, we saw it at Tulane more so than at Tennessee.
For sure. So it could be there, and maybe they're poised for a big boost, but there are question marks, I think, around their offense. Defensively, I think they got a few guys that could pop this year. Feel pretty good about them, to be honest with you. Yeah,
there's more guys on that side of the football that I feel like, all right, if we're talking about an individual that could dominate, could take over games, who might that player be? I would feel more confident about a couple of guys on that side of the football. And I think the first one that I would probably point to, if you said, hey, who's got the best chance to be a takeover player for the Tennessee defense, I would probably give you Joshua Josephs because I think he can move around a little bit. He doesn't have to be outside a lot. He's a little thicker, bigger than James Pierce, not as twitchy, but I think he has a chance to be a pretty good edge presence. I like Dominic Bailey. He can go inside. He can play outside. But we haven't seen either one of those guys just wreck a game. Aaron Carter gives you a ton of speed at linebacker. But
I like Aaron Carter and Thielen. I think both those guys are pretty good. I don't know if they're like take over the game guys, but I think they're both pretty good.
I don't know if I'd put that label on them either, but very good football players. Don't have a problem with any of them. So
love Jermod McCoy at corner, but he's banged up. Like until I know for sure he's back from the ACL, that's a question mark for me.
So I think collectively this defense is going to be solid.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have a dominant player, which says, okay, let's go to the schedule. And how does that lay out for can Tennessee sort of be this team? You open with Syracuse. We've been warning people now for months and try to do it again at media days. And this is not the game that for some reason anybody wants to talk about in the preseason and how dangerous it might be for Tennessee. Maybe because they're 13.5-point favorite right now?
Thereabouts.
But I'll just tell you be careful with this.
I think week one's dangerous for everybody. I don't care what the gap is. Unless you're playing an FCS team, I think week one's always hard. So it's not necessarily a reflection of Tennessee. It's definitely not a reflection on Syracuse. In fact, it's week one.
Sure.
And you're
it's an
operating with
early
a bunch
game.
of unknowns.
Yeah, early game week one. Don't love the recipe for that one of just feeling great that you're going to show up and everything's going to run smoothly. ETSU next, then Georgia at Neyland. And this offense has not had sustained success against this defense, Greg. They have rarely found ways to move the ball against this group structurally. And Georgia going to have some real players on that side of the football this year. I don't know if that really changes.
No, that's not changing. I mean, that's going to be a hard game. I mean, and if you look at how Georgia's played Tennessee the last couple of years, nobody's played Tennessee better than Georgia. And that game has not been competitive.
No,
the last couple of years. And by the way, that's been a decent Tennessee team these last few years. So I mean, teams
have gotten over the hump against some other teams,
no doubt.
Florida, Bama, that had been a while, and that's just one that hasn't happened yet. It just has not taken place.
Not yet.
The good news there will be, I think if you split Syracuse and Georgia, you're in pretty good shape. You UAB at Mississippi State, week off, Arkansas at home, then you're at Alabama. Okay? However that one goes, you're at Kentucky next. You don't like back-to-back road games, but then you get Oklahoma at home. And I think all the emotional stuff went away with that one last year for Josh. And I actually think there are parts of this game where Tennessee matches up fairly well. We just talked about that defensive line. I think it's going to be really good. I think the Oklahoma offensive line is going to be better, mainly because it can't be worse. But that could be a real area that Tennessee has success against that group. And what's the best way to neutralize what I believe is the best D-line in the SEC? Spread them out. And Tennessee can do that to the Oklahoma defensive line. And if the Oklahoma secondary is maybe not up to par, that might be a way to find some success. But after that, you get a bye week. Then you get New Mexico State at Florida and then Vanderbilt. So the schedule actually does allow for Tennessee to maybe be that team. I think for some of those tougher games, Greg, Oklahoma, Bama, Georgia, are you going to, even Syracuse, you might want to throw in a maybe for Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, might be Vandy, whatever, but are they going to have those players step up in those games? They can just say, hey, hop on my back. Let's go get this thing done.
I think that's the big question. And so much of it because of how this team plays and how they structure their offense, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, it's going to run through Joey Aguilar. Like he's going to have to keep people honest. If he has a bunch of long foul balls like Nico did last year, if he has a bunch of balls down the field where guys are open, he overthrows them out of bounds like Joe Milton did from time to time. If he is not as athletic with his legs, like Nico, for some of his flaws throwing the football consistently down the field, he made a couple plays with his legs every game, and those legs were always kind of a factor. Now, Aguilar can run. He's just not quite as top-end speed explosive as Nico is. So I think that's probably something worth watching as well.
Tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services.
Well, they're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring moves you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys, and you can trust them in your home. They do your whole home packed up move, your company headquarters moved across country, or you just want them to come rearrange the living room. These guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you purchase need to get to your home. So call visit them online today for a free quote. The website's crockermovingservice.com. That's crockermovingservice.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right, so some news potentially surrounding this statement from Coach Prime in a press conference that he's going to be having later this afternoon. Yahoo Sports able to have a conversation with him. What they shared feels like it may be pointing this press conference to a certain comment or decision. We'll tell you what that is when we come back next on Jox. What is this?
The 1975.
That's the song or the group?
That's the group. Pretty popular. But it's a
Really?
little late. It's a little later. It's kind of when I was in high school, getting into college and stuff.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never heard of a group called 1975.
1975?
Not a single time in my
Not
life.
once.
It's okay. It's generational.
Were they like on Nickelodeon or
No. They were from, I think I was not Australia, but
were they like one of those
overseas.
Disney bands?
No. They use profanity at a high level.
At a high level.
At a high level.
Sounded like it with that music.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they got some-
Sounded hardcore there.
No, they
Parental advisory all over that
it's-
clip.
There's
Super
a balance.
hardcore.
They got something. They drop a few.
What is their genre? Pop?
To be honest, I can't really describe it. I'm just a late bloomer on it myself, but the few songs I've heard, I was like, okay, it's not that bad.
So we're late getting to it because they're from Australia?
No, they just never really crossed my feed.
But you said they're very popular.
They are. I had to do a little bit of searching. They're not that bad.
I don't think that makes that might make them less popular.
No.
The harder you have to search to find them. But
It was just,
okay.
when your circles don't necessarily, tip over to the 1975, you have to be introduced to them, and I was introduced to them. That's pretty
Okay.
good.
Well, people aren't going to have to search very hard to find the Jox Kickoff Party.
No, they won't, man. All they got to do is go to JoxFM.com, or they can just text us. Text kickoff, the keyword kickoff, and your full name to 205-834-9450. Come celebrate college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party at Regents Field on Thursday, August 21st. And the only way is to win tickets by texting in kickoff, the keyword kickoff, and your full name to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily. For more information, visit JoxFM.com.
All right, I left you with a little bit of an indicator as to Coach Prime in that press conference coming up today. Noon here is when you'll get an update from him. The Colorado medical team apparently is going to join him at this press conference, and Yahoo Sports, I guess, had a chance to speak with him. This is from the Yahoo Sports Twitter account, 575,000 followers, verified account. They share a graphic, of course, so you know it's real. And says Deion Sanders shared an emotional message ahead of Monday's press conference scheduled to address his health. Quote, "Yesterday was tough because I had to make a will. It's not easy at all to think about you may not be here." So, Greg, we don't know where this is going. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, what he's going to say. But it's hard not to allow yourself to think that you have a pretty good feeling of where this is going based on hearing that.
Yeah, and certainly hope that everything's okay. Obviously, when the medical group is going to be up there with you, though, it's like it's not
often you have the medical professionals alongside you to tell everybody how great everything is.
Yeah, I'm concerned. So concerned mostly for his health. Secondly, concerned about his family and everything like that. But man, it's kind of out of left field. Like we knew he's had some stuff. I was with him 3 weeks ago, and he said everything's fine. Don't ask me about it. Done. We won't. But he seemed like he was in good spirits at Big 12. He seemed like he had full energy at Big 12. Like sometimes guy has something lingering from a medical standpoint. Like you can kind of tell, right? Like he didn't give off any of that. We were with him a couple weeks back. So here's hoping he's okay.
Absolutely. An interesting question coming in from Jamie Bailey. We do have a couple of teams that we have not discussed in the middle of the pack that maybe potentially could extend. We'll save Auburn for tomorrow because we're going to talk about Auburn a lot tomorrow. They're on the practice field tomorrow. Auburn and LSU get started alongside Baylor, Cal, Georgia Tech, Texas Tech, and Wake. So we'll talk mostly about the Auburn Tigers tomorrow. And LSU, depending on where you have them, they're either in that top four or of the teams that we just think are going to be there, or you might have them closer to the middle of the pack, kind of where I am on LSU right now. So we'll have that conversation with the Tigers from Baton Rouge tomorrow as well on just what it might take for them to finish towards the top of the league based on takeover players and schedule. I think takeover players I don't think is going to be a big issue for them. Schedule, we'll see. Take a look at that one tomorrow. But Jamie Bailey writes this in as we come off a conversation with David Hale. If you missed that, get it at the podcast, JoxFM.com. Wherever you get your podcast. They're on the app as well, as the app can also direct you right to watching us on YouTube every day. A question not many people would ever even think to ask or probably have not answered because no one else is going to pose it. This may be a dumb question, but would any team consider leaving the SEC for another conference? Even consider?
I think you always consider that. Like, yeah, I think you absolutely. I don't know if I would necessarily say for another conference. So,
you think there are teams that have considered leaving to go independent?
I think that always remains a possibility.
I mean, how many teams could realistically think that might be more beneficial?
Not many. I don't think there's very many at all. I think there's strength in numbers, but I do think that if there was ever a move to be made and people felt like if Notre Dame, for example, in this new world order, continues to cash checks at $20 million, not having to share anything, and it's because of the success on the football field, then I could see that being something that a team would consider down the road. I think that's possible, I guess. I think that's the ultimate dice roll. I like the bird in the hand is a real comfortable place, especially considering how successful and stable the SEC feels on an annual basis. But could a team, in theory, if Notre Dame came to, say, 3 or 4 teams, said, hey, let's try this, let's launch our own league, Like, could that be something they'd entertain? Perhaps.
Yeah.
If the question is, could you consider it?
Sure. Just has any team considered it? That was all we asked.
Yes, I believe teams have considered it.
Okay. Would Vanderbilt consider a move to the Big Ten? If asked.
I don't think so.
The only reason I say that is because the Big Ten holding their nose up at the academic side of things all the time and how prestigious they are academically, and maybe feel like that's a better fit.
But why would the Big Ten
just to get into the South? To just get in. It's why the whole thing. Did you guys talk about the thing with Memphis last week?
Yeah.
Are you on board with me that thinking the Big 12's dumb for not taking that?
That was kind of our takeaway. I'm just trying to figure out like why.
The only thing that would make sense to me would be after that $200 million. If you guys missed it, didn't hear the story, essentially Fred Smith, I'm not even going to say Memphis is offering it because it's Fred Smith that's offering it. $200 million self-imposed entry fee. How would you like? They're going to give the Big 12 $200 million to let them in.
Correct.
And
literally almost the exact same statistics that SMU used to join access into the ACC.
So my only thought to that would be after the $200 million is dispersed, splitting up the revenue moving forward would work against you to the point that they would not think that that's advantageous. But you look at college football and how people seem to need that money now. And then I look at it from the Big 12 perspective. You get into SEC territory. You go to a state in which 2 SEC teams are housed. You go to a city that multiple SEC schools recruit heavily. I mean, think about the great players from Memphis Bama's had over the years.
Oh, my goodness, so many.
I mean, Tennessee, the great players they've had from Memphis. Ole Miss, the great players they've had from Memphis. So I'm having a hard time with that one.
Plus, you factor in the additional level, and we talked about this last week as well. Like, their footprint includes Cincinnati and West Virginia. So you almost have an intermediary of sorts from a geographical standpoint in Memphis that is, like, perfect. Like, it shrinks the distance that those teams would have to go play somebody. So I think it would make perfect sense to add them. I do think you would need to have a secondary partner. I'm not sure they're real interested right now in going to 17 teams. That's what the ACC is currently doing, and is it doing so with flying colors? I don't know. Interpret it as you will. I think the schedule in the ACC, between the hardest schedule in the ACC and the easiest schedule in the ACC, is probably like 5th in the country most difficult to like 74th most difficult. It's like crazy how wide that gap is. So I don't think it's great when your whole thing, the Big 12, is all about competitive balance. Is it healthy to have 17 members? Probably not. But if they were to add an 18th, say, I don't know, UNLV or Tulane, then I could see that being even maybe more feasible. But I'm not sure Tulane, nor do I think UNLV are in position to just write a check for 250 or 200, or whatever it ends up being.
I wonder if that's how it's being shopped or discussed, is that we'll take you, but you're going to need a partner, and they're also going to need 200 to get in.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, there's not a lot of schools that have a Fred Smith that's standing by waiting to potentially help make that happen. So interesting nonetheless, as far as sort of where that is and where it's headed.
But I think the Big 12, though, is really cognizant about their basketball product. Obviously, football is the big boy, right? We all know that that's the most profitable. But Big 12 has been, I mean, it was openly discussed about adding UConn, openly discussed about adding Gonzaga. That was out there. That was not unique. That was not out of left field. So I feel like they really put a premium on basketball. And while you get it with Memphis, do you get it with somebody else?
Oh, that's tough.
You know, I mean, like Memphis has great basketball tradition.
Absolutely.
But Tulane, not so much. UNLV, great tradition, but it's been a long time since they've been playing at the highest levels of basketball. So I wonder, I wonder where that could go. But I'm fascinated by this Memphis situation. I'm shocked that the Big 12 did not entertain that possibility a little bit more.
Right. I'm with you on that. Okay. So we'll keep that conversation going. We are going to have bad box scores plural for you today. I'm sure most of you can imagine where one of those is going to come from. We'll get to those on the other side first. I'm going to tell you about your CBD store. If you're looking for a better night's sleep, if you need to lose a little bit of weight, the Trim by SunMed in stock on the shelves now at your CBD store. Arthritis, anxiety, bothering you or a pet in your household. Listen, we have a dog who's 16 years old in our house, and she has treats from your CBD store that she takes on a regular basis to help her move around just a little bit better. They've helped her in many ways over the years. They're the first company to have USDA certified organic oil supplements. They've gotten the stamp seal on those products. Largest brick and mortar CBD retailer in the world. 3 locations, Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleveland, Trussell just off 459. Your CBD store where good health hits home. Back to wrap up today's show with multiple bad box scores next on Jox. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Monday, July 28th, right here on Jox 94.5, 9:51 a.m. as we close it out with the next segment.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year, the national champs. They've won the GMC Dealer of the Year 5 times in a row, and the deals just continue to get better and better and better. Like a GMC, a Buick Encore GX, $29,985. You can take the $5,000 off the list price. You get it for $24,985. Deals like that to keep people come back. That's a really nice economical SUV that you can get for under $25,000. It's tough to find just about anywhere, but you can find it at Bill Smith Buick GMC. So take the short route to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
Before we get to our bad box scores plural of the day, Pete Moss tweets in at Mac and Cube, GMac, Cube, the 1975. You've heard this song. Chocolate? Is the band 1975 or the 1975?
The.
Oh, so they're like the Ohio State of music.
Like the.
Trademarked.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of any song having to do with chocolate that I've ever heard.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know this song.
Sounds like Jamiroquai.
I'm gonna be honest.
Damien's look when I said that was priceless.
Hang on a second. So when
Was that a you don't know who that is or
No,
that's spot on?
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he had like a couple videos that hit for a while. I didn't like the song so much, but like he had a TRL run where I figured you may have seen him. He wore the stupid top hat, like fuzzy top hat or something like that, dancing on a floor that lit up some or other. He wasn't great. Stupid name, but yeah.
I do not.
I've never heard this song.
I've
never heard this.
I have never heard this song.
What year are they from?
It's like 2014, 15.
They're from 1975.
Probably
What are you talking about?
That's probably about right. I mean, because in that time in music, I was just all country.
What year? 2014?
Yeah, I think it's like 2014, 2015.
I want to say that was like straight.
Master P.
No, that was way after Master P. That was like T.I., Jay-Z. That was like a stupid New York, like secondary rap artist came up, like Ballin' and all those stupid guys that could only make one song. I feel like 2014 era music was the friends of popular artists trying to make a song that never could sustain. Like D12, I feel like it was 2014.
Well, that was well before 2014.
Oh, was it? I'm out. I don't know my years.
2014 might as well have been 93.
That's just what I feel like as far as like,
you couldn't have been further off.
Whatever.
2014, I feel like the only thing that I listened to was like Thunder by Magic Dragons because that's all that was played in the studio when we were getting ready to do TV.
Thunder. Mr. Thunder. Oh, God. All About That Bass 2014?
Yeah, no trouble.
Shake It Off, Taylor Swift.
Very popular.
Bang Bang, Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj.
Bang Bang was a good song.
It was.
Anaconda, Nicki Minaj.
Don't know that one.
My Anaconda don't.
That's not that one. Black Widow, Iggy Azalea.
That was a banger.
Stay With Me, Sam Smith.
Stay with me.
Oh, jeez. Break Free, Ariana Grande.
Not too familiar with that one.
Boom Clap, Charlie XCX.
Oh, man.
I bet I've heard it, but I don't know
really. The sick part is it's been 11 years.
Right.
2014 feels like yesterday.
It was the year I graduated high school.
Years.
Oh, Rude by Magic. That's a bad song.
Oh, you gotta be so rude.
Don't need it. Maps by Maroon 5. That could have been Maroon 5 right there, by the way.
I think that was Maroon 5.
Basically, it's an Australian Maroon 5.
1975 Maroon 5 spinoff.
See, I wasn't too far off here. Hot Boy Bobby Shmurda.
Well, yeah, that was.
Did he have two songs?
Yeah, that one and his Bobby. Yeah.
Did he not do Panda?
That was Designer.
Same thing. Same exact person.
Panda.
One or two good songs and then done.
Panda's kind of fire, though. I'm not going to lie. That one still pops up every once in a while.
Yeah, if I need to. Better.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I rock Panda on the way home today.
Hold on. This Is How We Do by Katy Perry.
I
thought that was Game. The Game.
This is
I like
how
where
we
you're into
do it.
That's
the
one. That's Montel Jordan.
How
no, that's it.
This is how we do.
You sound like the song "1 Week" by Bare Naked Ladies. When you're like, you can sing "It's Been 1 Week." You got all that, but you can't sing the rap verse.
Happy by Pharrell Williams. 2014, full of dumb songs.
No, Happy's a good song.
It's not a good song.
It makes you happy.
Overplayed. It doesn't make me happy.
They're all overplayed.
Damien, number 28 on the Billboard 100 in 2014, Dirt by Florida Georgia
Yes,
Line.
sir. It's that
Never
M rated.
heard
It's
it.
the M rated. Yeah,
Never heard it.
Yeah, hey, it's a banger.
All right, I guess we'll save these bad box scores